Fenway Park in Boston, ESPN's Friday Night Baseball presents the American League champion Oakland A's and the Boston Red Sox. Hello once again, everyone, and welcome to ESPN's Friday Night Baseball. I'm John Saunders. The last time the Oakland A's were in Boston, they were sweeping their way to the American League Championship Series title. But Boston got game number 1 of this series, something they couldn't do in the series of last year when it was in the playoffs. Tonight it'll be Mike Moore going up against Tom Bolton. Bolton 3-0 at Fenway Park this year, undefeated. Mike Moore 8-5 overall. The A's, though, struggling. They've lost 4 of 5. They're 2 back in the West. The Red Sox lost 3 of 4. They are tied for first place, though, in the East with the Toronto Blue Jays. Game number 2 of the doubleheader. Greg Maddux up against Bud Black. Chicago Cubs have lost 6 consecutive games. San Francisco has lost 4 of their last 5, so a couple of teams in dire need of a victory. And the Pittsburgh Pirates, news for them is not good. Their third baseman, Jeff King, could be lost for the season. He has a bulging disc in his lower back. He's been on the disabled list twice because of this, and doctors say he needs rest or possibly surgery. He's thinking about that right now. Now, King's replacement has been Bobby Bonilla, who's come in from the outfield to play third base, position he played a couple of years ago. But Bonilla injured himself against the Dodgers last night, running from first to third. He says it's tough to even walk. In that game, Stan Javier with a base hit up the middle, a high hop over Jay Bell. Brett Butler comes in to score. Dodgers go on to win it 3-2. They now lead by 6 games. Up next, it will be the A's and the Red Sox from Fenway Park in Boston. We'll be here all night long.
They've already drawn over $1 million at Fenway Park in Boston. It's the earliest ever they've done that, and they'll pack them in again tonight as the Oakland A's take on the Boston Red Sox. Oakland A's not in first place, 2 games behind Minnesota. They haven't been 3 games out since 1987. In the East, nobody wants it. Play 500, you'll be at the top and in contention. Welcome, Fenway Park, Gary Thorne, Ray Knight, first of 2 on our ESPN Friday Night Baseball. Ray, for the Boston Red Sox this season, it's been a question of how do they score runs. Where do you put people in that lineup?
Well, Joe Morgan's trying to figure that out right now, Gary. He has tonight, Burks is leading off. You see at the beginning of the year, we had Boggs leading off, Greenwell hitting third, Burks hitting 5th, and Tim Naring, the shortstop, now have the back injury playing short. Now tonight, you're going to see Ellis Burks for the 2nd night in a row leading off, move Boggs to 3rd where he feels more comfortable, Greenwell to 5th where he feels more comfortable. And what Joe Morgan's trying to do is get some sock in this lineup. Burks is the key to this offense. They feel that he has not driven in runs, only hitting 133 runners in scoring position. And now with Boggs hitting 3rd and Greenwell, they feel they'll be able to produce some runs.
One of the biggest surprises this season is with the Oakland A's, a team that has earned its reputation largely through great pitching, not pitching well right now.
Well, the surprise may be that they're in 2nd place just 2 games out. You look here at how they led the AL in earned run average over the prior 3 seasons. This year really struggling. The reason for that is they've had so many guys on disabled list. 7 guys on DL, including Honeycutt and Shaw and Nelson. And the big point is here that they've been able to stay in contention, only 2 games out of first place, simply because of the fact that they have that great depth. The reason their earned run is so average is so high is because they have Dressendorfer out there and Sluzarski, young guys who should be in AAA, having to come in and mend this staff. They're going to be in contention, and I believe now they're starting to mend and ready to make a challenge for this AL West.
Ricky Henderson leading it off, 12 for his last 30. He's hot. Dave Henderson has been hot all season. He'll make a start in center field. The home runs are coming for Jose Canseco. He will be in right. Harold Baines approaching the top of the league-leading hitters for DH. Terry Steinbach will be doing the catching tonight. Mark McGuire hitting home runs here at Fenway Park will be at first base. Vance Law makes the start at 3rd. Mike Gallego, the shortstop for Walter Weiss, who's out. And University of Maine grad Mike Bordick at 2nd base. It is a beautiful night here at Fenway Park after just a magnificent first day of summer. This is the solstice, of course, the longest daylight day of the year. So happy summer, everybody. We'll have 35,000 plus on hand here tonight at beautiful Fenway Park that looks like this with the numbers. As you go down the line in left field towards the monster, there you see the shot where you can poke it out in a hurry. 379, 390. You get to the well in deep center, it's 420. Right center field, 380, and that short porch, 302. And those left-handers can tangle. The wall's 37 feet high. The Green Monster, controlled all these years by the likes of Williams, Yastrzemski, and now Mike Greenwell. The Red Sox on the field and ready to go. Right?
Yeah, pitching for the Boston Red Sox, Tom Bolton, left-hander, 6'3", 180 pounds, 30 years old. features a fastball that runs in, another fastball that he throws four-seamer, about 87, 88 miles an hour, a big sweeping curveball, and a straight changeup. Catching tonight, Tony Pena. And around the infield, sure-handed Jody Reed at second base, Carlos Quintana, the first baseman, Luis Rivera, the shortstop, Wade Boggs at third base. And in the outfield for the Red Sox, Golden Glove winner last year, Ellis Burks in center, Mike Greenwell in left, and Tom Brunansky in right.
Boston Red Sox getting the victory last night in a real seesaw battle. McGuire, Canseco both had home runs, but the Red Sox were able to match them with the home runs. Tom Brunansky is hot, so is Clark. You can see the Red Sox numbers, the best among the Eastern teams against the Western Division, so you sure don't mind doing that. And Tom Bolton, the left-hander, will be making the start tonight for the Boston Red Sox. You take a look at what Bolton has done here at Fenway Park. He is incredible at home. Get him on the road, and that ERA jumps up to over 2 runs per ball game more. Lifetime, Bolton is 11-2 here at Fenway Park, part of an 18-16 career mark.
Well, Gary, I asked pitching coach Bill Fisher why the tremendous turnaround in numbers, especially how the efficiency here at Fenway, and he said simply because everybody seems to try to want to pull Tom Bolton. He has that real good fastball that runs away from the right-handed hitters. Oakland power-packed right-handed lineup. Can't try to pull this man. You have to go the other way with him. People come here in Fenway and try to hit the ball off that wall, and that's feeding right into the hands of Tom Bolton.
And of course, Bill Fisher, well aware, he likes to get Bolton here because Bolton is a ground ball pitcher. And you like to have ground ball pitchers working at Fenway Park, especially against ball clubs that like to put them out like Oakland. However, if the stats hold true, as the Elias Sports Bureau has done since 1900 when they run them down, ground ball pitchers against fly ball hitting teams do not fare well. When you have opposites matching up, it's to the batter's advantage. We'll see what happens here tonight. Ricky Henderson leading it off, Bolton ready to go, and we're underway in this Friday night of baseball, and Bolton gets it in for the strike. Ricky didn't believe it either.
No, he didn't. A lot of complaining about umpires. A lot of guys down there on the field before the ball game were talking about expansion of the strike zone, especially away.
Ricky to the wall in left field. Greenwell turns around. He'll play it. Ricky's going to stop at first base. Ricky's hamstring and ankle are both bothering him. We'll see how that affects his racing around the bases tonight, but that time he had no intention of going anywhere, and actually that ball was played really well anyway.
Well, Mike Greenwell, before the game, was taking from Johnny Pesky a lot of fly balls off the wall. Talking to Sean McDonough, announcer for the Red Sox, said that Greenwell has really worked hard and has become an outstanding left fielder, just spending countless hours out there working on that wall, a la Ted Williams and great Kari Yastrzemski.
80th hit of the season for Ricky Henderson. That puts him 6th best in the league, and his on-base percentage is 3rd best at .430 now. And Dave Henderson will stand in against the left-hander. Henderson has been moved up to the number 2 spot. And Tom Bolton misses outside.
I just want to talk about the strike zone a little bit. Talking to Jack Clark coming over here, saying that the strike zone in the American League he feels is expanded away, but they don't give the high strike. That they tend to call the ball right around the waist to ball and tend to give the pitchers strikes away. I talked to Joe Morgan a little bit about that, and he says that he concurs and he feels the same way, but there's not a thing that you can do about it. And they are consistent, but his beef is that the umpires continue to stay over the inside part of the plate while most of the pitchers throw 70% of the pitches away, and as a result, he thinks the umpires are peeking out there.
It's been an argument for some time about where the umpires work behind the catcher to get the best view. They obviously want the best view. Jerry Reed working behind the plate tonight. He's got Joe Brinkman at first, Darrell Cousins at second, Rocky Rose at third in this umpiring crew. Dave Henderson waiting. He's going to take that one after Bolton had missed inside and outside. Gets that one in for the strike. Ricky, even though he's hampered running right now, you see, still very effective, a bit above the Major League Baseball average. He's had 8 in the first inning. Right now, his 26 ties him with Luis Polonia for first in the league in stolen bases. Ricky's been troubled all season. He's playing in some pain. That hamstring has not been 100% this year. And he's in and out of there. In fact, he was asked tonight whether he wanted to play. Breaking ball towards short. Rivera. Reed. Easy double play.
Well, we're talking about a low ball pitcher, ground ball, breaking ball starting up in the strike zone, going down and in. Routine double play ground ball, and that's exactly what Tom Bolton tries to do. Force that breaking ball in on the batters and that sinker away.
That's 7 times now that Dave Henderson has grounded into a double play, tied with Harold Baines in that department of the A's. And Tom Bolton gets a big break early. You put Ricky Henderson on to start a game, usually means you're in trouble.
It sure does.
Now they're gone. 2 down, bases empty, and Canseco draws the oohs, ahs, cheers, and whatever else you can do everywhere he goes. Look at the home runs and the RBIs. And Jose rips one into the corner in left field. Greenwell over to get it. It dies over there. Canseco heads for second base. Greenwell's throw will not be in time. And Canseco's on with his 15th two-bagger of the season. Mike's looking back at the wall. That ball really pinballed over there on him. He's on at second, 2 down. John?
Twins in the Yankees. As Budweiser now takes us to Yankee Stadium. Scott Sanderson, first pitch of the game. Dan Gladden just rips it to left field. Gone over the wall for the home run. The next pitch, he gave up a double. 1-0. Back to Gary and Ray.
And those are those Twins in first place by 2 games over Oakland, 3.5 over Texas. Bolton now will pitch to Harold Baines. There is nobody any hotter in baseball, anywhere, any league than Harold Baines. He is tearing the baseball up. Second in the league in hitting right now. Towards first base, it'll be played by Quintana, and Bolton gets the big out. So 2 hits, no runs, and a base runner left at second. The Sox coming up. In the season series last year, Oakland took 8 of the 12 games, but the Red Sox have won 3 of the first 4 this year. Well, we'll see whether or not it agrees with him. Leading off, Ellis Burks, center field. Jody Reed will be at second base. He'll be batting second. Wade Boggs, the big offensive numbers yet again at third base. Home runs at home. Jack Clark, the designated hitter, batting cleanup. Mike Greenwell, left-handed batter, starts in left field. Tom Brunansky, hot bat at home again. He'll be in right. Didn't play last night. First base tonight, Carlos Quintana. Tony Pena hauling him down behind the plate. And batting ninth, the shortstop, Luis Rivera.
Pitching tonight for the Oakland A, 6'4", 205-pound Mike Moore, just 31 years old, has a fastball that he runs in, slider short and quick, changeup. 8-5 thus far this year, 4.19 earned run average. And catching, Terry Steinbach, who some say is the heart and soul of this ball club, getting a broken nose and breaking his jawbone. Mark McGuire, the first baseman. Mike Bordick at second base tonight. Mike Gallego, the shortstop. And Vance Law getting the start tonight at third. Jose Canseco, the right fielder. Ricky Henderson in left. And Dave Henderson in center.
For Mike Moore, great start this season. He won 5 of his first 6 decisions. Then lost a couple, won 2, and now has lost 3 of his last 4, including a 5-0 shutout pitched against him by Frank Tadana and the Detroit Tigers this past week. He's trying to get out of a slump right here. Opposition hitting .257 against him right now, and he has struggled against the Red Sox. Lifetime 5 wins and 11 losses against Boston. This will be Mike Moore's 300th start in his major league career. One of those benchmark milestone kind of numbers. And Ellis Burks will be leading it off. He started the ball game last night in the leadoff spot and delivered a leadoff double. Moore. This is outside to him, ball 1.
Well, it's important that Mike Moore establish his strike zone. He has that fastball that he runs in, but last year, for the first time in his career, he walked 84 batters and only struck out 73.
Bat goes, ball goes. May have bothered Law. Gets it. Nice play. Vance Law had the barrel of that bat coming right at him as the ball came up off the grass. Bobbled it. Got it back.
Well, Gary, that takes tremendous concentration. You're going to see this bat barrel just break and come right at him, and it's hard not to look up at that bat. And I think he probably took his eye off the ball, but then recovered, came right back, and made a strong throw to first base. Watch Vance Law here. He does have his head down, but I think he's thinking about that bat flying out there, and it's very difficult. I had that probably 10 or 11 times in my career, and there's no way that you do not glance and check where the bat is going to land before you go catch the baseball.
Vance Law sharing the duties at third base. Ernie Riles as well. Carney Lansford traveling with the team, of course, out all season. Snowmobile injury, left knee. He was out taking batting practice today. Lansford working with Reggie Jackson, one of the coach broadcasters with the Oakland A's. Reggie threw batting practice to him. And Carney's coming. He's right there sitting down on the top step. But he's still well away from being able to play. In batting practice, in all honesty, the swings did not look that good. And Rick Burleson was out there working with him. It's the beginning of spring training for Carney Lansford. See Jody Reed's numbers. Mike Moore, one down and nobody on. And Reed will take that one up high. Moore takes it a ball and a strike. Jody's got a 3-game hit streak. 5 hits in his last 14 at-bats. And as you see, a contact hitter. And the first beach ball will be picked up in the right field corner. That's what Jody Reed is watching. Boy, it is. They moved this press box up here at Fenway Park, as most baseball fans know. It's another level and a half up. Gives us a view of downtown Boston. It is spectacular tonight. Swung on at line, and that will be a foul ball. Virtually clear blue skies, looking out over the city down towards the big Crew Prudential building right there. Over the rooftops of one of America's and the world's great cities, Boston, Mass. Even if Scully Square's gone. 1-2 delivery and scooped by Terry Steinbach. Even the count up. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
Gary mentioned Mike Moore having trouble with his control last year. He went from winning 19 games and only losing 11 in 1989 to 13 and 15 last year, from an earned run average of 2.61 to 4.65. And Dave Duncan worked with him a little bit earlier in spring training to try to get his arm up higher. He's starting to drop down on the ball with the ball 3/4, and he's always been over the top with that natural sinker down and in, as you see Latchman there, and Dave Duncan somewhere in that dugout. But Moore has really struggled with his control, and this year he's gotten off to a little better start, 8-5, but still not striking out a lot of people.
Almost hit him that time. That'll be ball 4. And Jody Reed is on with a walk. There's another problem, Ray, we were talking about. For Mike Moore now, that's his 50th walk in 87 innings pitched.
Well, you don't know what happens. Mike Moore always showing outstanding control in his career when he was with Seattle. I always felt when I faced him that he could put you away, especially if he got ahead of you. He always struck out 170, 180 guys per year, you know, usually 7, 8 guys a game. But last year he really was inconsistent, could not get ahead of the hitters, and that's one reason batters hit 257 against him last year as opposed to 221 the year before. But if you're always behind the count, these major league hitters are going to hammer you.
19th walk for Reed, who is on at first base now, and that will bring up Wade Boggs. 12 hits in his last 31 at-bats for Wade Boggs. You see that batting average, which is just out of the top 10, which is something he rarely is in his major league career. And working carefully to him. Moore misses outside with it. 1 ball and 1 strike. Boggs with a tremendous on-base percentage at .413. We've got guys in this game who can get on. Ricky Henderson is 3rd in the league. Baines is 4th. Boggs is 5th. And Dave Henderson is 7th in on-base percentage. All in this game. And this guy doesn't strike out either. Boggs is the toughest right now to strike out in the American League. Only 1 K for every 22 plate appearances.
When Gary Wade has talked about hitting third, and he's been a leadoff hitter most of his career. Joe Morgan likes Wade leading off and Alex Burks hitting third. We mentioned the open, but Alex just not driving in runs after hitting third. And
he's got another nice single. Stopping at second base, thrown back in by Dave Henderson, and the Red Sox have it started. First and second, 1 out. John Saunders.
Budweiser takes you now to Toronto, where the Jays are facing the Indians. Runners on second and third. Brooks Jacoby to Ed Sprague. He boots the ball. Vermeer scores 1-0. The Jays made 3 errors in the first. Back to Gary and Ray.
First and second occupied. And the Red Sox trying to get to Moore early. And Jack Clark will be up with just 1 out. And his fans buzzing at Fenway, sensing a first inning rally. The average, and then look at the RBIs. Double play depth here with one away. Right field, stunned. Canseco into the corner, will not get it. It'll hop off the top of that low wall. One run will score. Boggs at third will turn and stop. A double and an RBI for Jack Clark. 1-0 Boston. Fourth double, just the fourth for Clark, but his 28th run batted in. Ray, that's exactly what we were talking about. They're looking for.
Well, Jack Clark more starts the ball out over the plate, moves right back over the hitting area. Clark just kills it. Not too many right-handers hitters are going to hit the ball that hard on the line. Line drive on a high fastball carrying about 375 feet, about 20 feet off the ground. That ball was bolted.
And Moore's in trouble here in the first inning. Red Sox doing what they have done throughout his career, and that's bang away. And Tony La Russa talking with him today is concerned. Their pitching is really struggling right now. Dave Stewart did not have a good night last night. They gave him a lead and he lost it. 5-2 lead disappeared last night, and that just doesn't happen when Dave Stewart's pitching. But it did last night. Now Greenwell, he's got two in scoring position, and that is a fair ball. McGuire, an outstanding stop, will not get there in time. A single. Boggs scores. 2-0 Boston.
Mike Greenwell hits the ball very hard. You see a quick reaction, 5 steps right there. McGuire fully stretched out. Greenwell running full tilt. The pitcher should have been there, but a great play by Greenwell. Mike Moore watching instead of getting over there, but great play by Mark McGuire. All he should have to do here is get up, toss the ball to the pitcher, but Mike Moore not there. Greenwell beating him into the bag with a slide. Great heads-up play.
Mike Greenwell gets his 36th run batted in. Wade Boggs scored. First and third now for Tom Brunansky. Still just one out. And it's taken down low for a ball. And a very tough start here for Mike Moore. Tony La Russa will want to stay away from that bullpen, especially early. He had to go into it 5 deep last night. And the night before that in Detroit had to go into it. Bounced. Steinbach blocks it down to second. No throw. Wild pitch. Greenwell at second base. That is the 9th wild pitch of the season thrown by Mike Moore.
Mike Moore just trying to throw a sinker, and he just throws it about 57 feet. Great job by Steinbach as that ball really bounces up. Watch Tom Brunansky here tell him, hold up, and then he says, yeah, right. Go ahead.
And they will intentionally walk Tom Brunansky to load the bases for Carlos Quintana.
And I don't blame him, Gary. Brunansky only hitting .207, but with 41 RBIs, which leads the team. Joe Morgan has said that he is by far the best clutch hitter on this ball club thus far this season.
One of those 9 wild pitches, not only leading his staff, but everybody else in the American League. Well, Carlos Quintana, sweet situation for him right now. He did not play in last night's game. He's been in a bit of a slump with a bad back that's been bothering him. But his numbers, he's batting .369. With the bases loaded, he's 2 for 7 and 5 RBIs, and he's got them loaded right now in that department. And that's to third. Law, 1, relay, they got him. Law to Bordick to McGuire, a big double play, and so the strategy works. 2 runs in, though, on 3 hits. Long first inning for Mike Moore.
Yeah, I tell you what, he has mentioned him struggling with all that, and he came up with 2 big double plays, but 1 big double play, but they can't figure out what has caused Mike Moore's decline. He always had that great control, that great command with his fastball and his slider. You see him bouncing a couple of pitches that inning, and just not being able to put people away. fact, we were talking, Gary, I think that was a bad inning for the Red Sox. They should have been able to take advantage of that and score 4 or 5 runs. Let's see if it comes back and haunts.
That's the other side of the coin. First inning where you have a chance to knock the starter out, as they did right there, and you don't get it done. You don't slam the door early. It really can come back to haunt you. See what Bolton does here. Is Terry Steinbach to short. Luis Rivera to contend at first base. Steinbach's return. One away here in the second inning. It's been a bad road trip for the Oakland A's thus far. They are 2-5 on this road trip. Last night, the first of 4 games that will conclude it here in Boston, a 4-game series. They have not played, you believe this? The All-Star break's coming up. They have not played Kansas City or Texas. They will play them 13 times before the All-Star break combined. Nice scheduling. Wow. Mark McGwire put one out into the night last night. Fouls this one off, and that's exactly what the story has been on Mark McGwire this month. He's got an incredible set of numbers going. He is 7 for 23 on this road trip with 4 homers and 7 RBIs. He's had 4 home runs in his last 5 games. What we're saying is, if he gets a hit, it's a home run.
Well, when you look at his record, 49 home runs in 87, 32, 33, 88, 89, and 39 last year. It doesn't surprise anybody that when he hits something, he hits a home run. He's not really an average hitter, never hitting higher than 289 that first year, but 231, 235 the past 2 years. Mark McGwire is a mistake hitter supreme, Gary. He likes the ball out over the plate. Remember the 88 World Series and the 90 World Series, the guys pounding fastballs in on him, cannot get that bad hit out front of him, fastballs in, but just hammers the fastball away in the breaking balls.
Mark McGwire up there among the leaders, of course, with those home runs. And right now is 8th in homers. And McGwire just outside the top 10 in RBIs. And Tom Bolton, trying to work around him that time, delivers his first walk. And that'll put McGwire on with one away here in the second inning. And bring up Vance Law. Bolton has walked 30 in 68 innings, striking out 42. Walks are a little high. He's not a strikeout pitcher, though. The ground balls that he likes to get, he'll let the infield do a lot of work behind him. Here's the veteran Vance Law.
Vance Law, 10-year Major League veteran, last year playing over in Japan. 257 lifetime hitter, playing with Pittsburgh, Chicago, Montreal, and then Chicago in the National League.
Solid, steady player who the A's were very fortunate to find with Carney Lansford out in the first half of the year. He's done a number on left-handers. One of the reasons that he is in there tonight. The other number going for him is he's been strong on the road. He's batting .286 on the road and only .212 at home. Tom Bolton gets the strike. 1 ball, 1 strike, 1 out. Boston leading 2-0 here in the top of the second inning.
Vance Law is one of those hitters that you call a professional hitter. By that, you mean that he goes deep in the count. He gets good pitches to hit. You seldom see him swing at a bad pitch.
Off the fist to third. Wade Boggs to second. Reed to first, and the double play again. And that's what we told you. Tom Bolton, when he's on, gets the ground balls. Those can be turned into double plays. He's got 2 of them already. Boston Red Sox here at home this season are pouring it on again. They've won 20 games at home and have lost only 13. They were a 51 victory team at home last year. Same number that the Oakland A's had at home. Tony Pena will be leading it off. Pena, Rivera, top of the order. Ellis Burks here in the bottom half of the second inning. We've had 3 double plays already in this game. Moore with a breaking ball. Misses up high. Ball 1.
Well, you're talking about Bolton being a ground ball pitcher, but also the Boston Red Sox slow of foot, very impatient at the plate. One reason they have struggled in scoring runs with runners in scoring position have a tendency to swing at the first pitch. Quintana did, Greenwell did, runners were second, third. Greenwell came up with a base hit due to his hustle, but they're just not going deep enough in the count to get a good pitch.
Look out! That hit Moore in the foot. He makes the play, and now the question is he all right? He may have gotten enough of the shoe up on that so that it caught the leather and sole He's waving off home plate umpire Reed, saying he is okay, and nobody coming out of the Oakland dugout. You know, Tony La Russa had a heart palpitation on that one.
Oh boy, they could ill afford to lose Mike Moore. He gives you innings if nothing else. There, the ball does hit him, looks like on his shoe top first, and then runs up his shin. Mike Moore in 8 straight seasons giving you more than 200+ innings, so he is a workhorse.
They're going to need him this season because of those injuries on their pitching staff. They do right now. Luis Rivera with 1 down and nobody on. He's raised his average, having 6 hits in his last 20 at-bats. Foul that one off out of play, and Gray, they're going right at it. Those Red Sox hitters never have been known for being patient.
Well, that's one reason why they don't strike out a lot either. If you don't get too deep in the count and you swing at balls and put them in play, which they do. They're a contact hitting ball club, not a tremendous amount of power. But you have to be a different type hitters with runners in scoring position, Gary. You have to make the pitcher. He's the one in the hole. He'll make a mistake if you go deep enough in the count.
We're looking at their overall numbers right now. Boston and Oakland come into this game with the exact same batting average. It's 259. The difference, though, is in slugging and on-base percentage. That's where Oakland's gotten their runs and the Red Sox haven't. Oakland this season has drawn 308 walks. The Red Sox have drawn only 236. But the on-base percentage for Oakland's at 352. For Boston, it's at 334. That's significant, even though it doesn't seem like a lot when you add up the total runners and runs that result from it. Good play made by Law. That'll retire Rivera. Talking with Sandy Alderson, the GM, great discussion with him. I was sitting in the dugout with him before the game today, about a half an hour. Sandy Alderson is one of those baseball people, and I agree with him. When he looks at numbers, he says batting average tells you nothing about runs. If you want to know about runs being scored, look at the column of on-base percentage and slugging percentage. That will tell you whether a team's producing.
I agree with that.
You like that?
I certainly do. There's so many people that will go 2 for 4, and it doesn't matter with 2 outs, 5 or 6 runs down. But when you look at on-base percentage, that's something that is so important to key, because it adds your walks and your base hits, and it is so important, especially if you're in front of the batting order. Top of the batting order, like Wade Boggs, who always has a 420, 430 on-base percentage. Ricky Henderson. Base on balls are so important, because if you're on base enough, these guys will eventually drive you in.
Ellis Burks batting at 247. Sandy Alderson believes in that so much. That is how the Oakland A's draft. And when they trade, that's how they trade. They look to see what those numbers are on hitters, on base and slugging percentage. Those are the people they want on their team. They'll take the strikeouts if they get those other numbers. Fouled off by Burks. 2 down here and a 1-2 count.
Well, when you figure slugging percentage, you divide your total bases until your time at bats, and that tells you what you do. I mean, if a guy hits a home run in 1 at bat, then his slugging percentage obviously is high, and it's just a consistent thing. Like you see Harold Baines there, big producer, because he hits a lot of doubles, a lot of home runs, and it's just something that does not belie stats. So many stats are misleading.
543 on base percent, slugging percentage. That's 4th best. Harold Baines has that, and he scored 22 in the league. That's 4th in on base percentage. Both of those numbers for Harold Baines. 2-2 delivery, and Burks puts it up in the air. It's playable. Dave Henderson. Tough time of the night, twilight time. He struggled last night trying to find some fly balls and needed a little help from Ricky Henderson on that one. Moore retires the side in order in the 2nd.
The night tied for first place in the East with the Boston Red Sox, down 1-0 to the Cleveland Indians in the first, but they come back against Swindell. Pat Tabler laces it down the line. As it rolls around out there, Carter comes in, Gruber follows him. The Jays put 4 on. They lead it 4-1. Back to Gary and Ray.
Thank you, John. Cleveland Indians. Old Carroll, our Cleveland Indians, trying to stay out of the cellar. Baltimore's there right now. Cleveland a game ahead of them. And Tom Bolton working to Mike Gallego. Inside, ball 1. A lot of playing time for Mike Gallego. Walter Weiss out of there. He started 12 now of the last 14 games. Walt Weiss will not be back at shortstop probably until the final month of the season. Left-hander gets the outside corner on him. 1-2. Very versatile player. Maybe about any position in the infield, but especially second and short, where it's sometimes tough to find people who can turn two from each side.
Well, he's an exceptional second baseman. Arms just a little short to be a top flight everyday American League shortstop.
Over to Quintana. Diego is retired. Tom Bolton, we said, is a ground ball pitcher, and he's getting him tonight. Tom, you like that?
In the early part of the game, if I'm getting the breaking ball over the plate, that has a lot to do with, of course, how long I'll last. But as it gets deeper into the game, if I start tiring, you'll see the ball come up in the strike zone just as any pitcher would. And the ground balls will start turning into to outs in the air or base hits due to line drives such as that.
And he's a great prognosticator. He knows what he's got to do when he's on, and he's on right now. He's got about 25 tickets out tonight, this man, Mike Bordick. Played his baseball at the University of Maine. So New England baseball is from whence he comes. And he makes the start here at Fenway Park, where he was a Red Sox fan, came to watch so many games. Ray standing with him on the dugout steps tonight before the game. This 25-year-old could hardly talk. Making a start at Fenway. You remember what that was like?
Oh, man. I didn't get a start, but my first at bat was 1974. I pinch hit against Mike Hardy with San Diego Padres, and he threw me 3 sliders. And I took 3 swings and went back and sat down. The first one was on the outside black. The next one was about 5 inches outside, and I swung it in. The next one was over there in the on-deck circle somewhere, and I hacked it in too. Pete Rose was in the on-deck circle. I pinch hit for the pitcher, and he said, "Kid, you're going to have to learn to hit that slider."
Bordick takes it down low. Well, Bordick's played in some games, but coming off the bench tonight, he gets the start. So it's a whole lot different when you're in that category. He's had only 2 major league at-bats. 4th game he's appeared in, still looking for his first major league hit. Bordick towards second base. Jody Reed will gobble that one up, and Mike Bordick is gone, and there are 2 down. John?
Budweiser takes us now to Atlanta, where the Mets are facing the Braves. Charlie Leibrandt to Kevin Elster. Laces it to left. Lonnie Smith gives it a try, but it's just past his glove and to the wall. Howard Johnson scores. Rick Cerrone is going to try and score as well. The throw comes in. Heath with the tag, but it's late. He's in there safe. Mets are up 2-0. Back to you.
Ray, how about the Mets?
How about them?
Wow. You better send a fire truck in the clubhouse there, the way things are going. They need some wins just to cool things off. Henderson single his first time up. 2 down, nobody on here. A 2-0 lead for Boston here in the top half of the 3rd inning. See Ricky's comparison overall right now. A little lower, but he's hot. He's hot again. He's 2 for 2. Greenwell will chase it down. He's going to stop again, and there's that hamstring. Ricky's going very slowly, very tenderly when he cuts around that bag. And he wasn't even close to thinking about going for a double. He's got 2 singles. It isn't hurting his swing, but it sure is affecting his pace of progression down the baseline.
Well, here's a fastball a little bit up in the strike zone, not down. He does hammer that ball, but Mike Greenwell just gets over there and plays his carom perfectly. The ball just comes right off to him, and 1 hop, comes back and just throws a perfect strike to Jody Reed at second base.
Ricky came in only 2 for 15 against Boston this season. Now he's 2 for 2 here tonight. Lifetime .287 hitter against Boston. Dave Henderson hit into a double play his first time up. Either way, Dave Henderson has been there. 6th in the league right now, batting average. The off-speed pitch by Bolton is on the outside corner. 1-1.
We mentioned how Tom Bolton had to get that breaking ball over. It's very tough because he backdoors that breaking ball starting at outside off the plate, and a lot of right-handed hitters give up on that ball, and then he catches the outside corner. It appears to look away. He comes back with what Bill Fisher calls the outshoot, that little sinker that moves away from the right-handed hitter.
Any kind of movement will do.
Right.
You can mix it up. 2 down. Ricky Henderson at first base. 2-0 lead for the Red Sox. And Hindu goes the other way into the corner. Tom Bernansky will have to chase this one down. Can Ricky score? He's coming around third base. Bernansky will get the relay throw back in. Jody Reed nowhere to go with it, and it's 2-1. Dave Henderson, RBI double. His 46th run batted in moves him up to 4th in the American League in RBIs. Whoa, what a season as a clutch hitter.
Well, here's that outshoot pitch, and he gets over the middle of the plate. Dave Henderson stays right on Ricky Henderson round the bag, running hard, but you see him starting to give a little bit on that leg. He starts to limp a little bit, starts to really labor. Ricky Henderson, one of the prettiest runners, but you start to see him labor on that left side and then limp once he gets to home.
So Ricky's in with a first run, and for Dave Henderson this season, he's batting over .330 now with runners in scoring position. What a difference that has made for these Oakland A's. Clutch hitting by he and Harold Baines. Jose Canseco. You really want to know the difference. We told you the Red Sox and the A's exact same batting averages, yet the Oakland A's this season have now scored 333 runs to the Red Sox 276. The difference is with runners in scoring position. The Red Sox are batting .234. The A's are batting .270 in those clutch hit situations. Canseco looking at another one away, ball 2.
One thing too, Gary, is you always have big RBI man in this A's lineup. Canseco over 100 RBIs in his career. McGuire over 100 RBIs. Baines over 100 RBIs in his career. Henderson 94, 93 RBIs. So they know they can drive in runs. When you look at the Red Sox, Bernansky one time in his career 100. Jack Clark yet to begin to hit has driven in 100 runs, but most of these guys 70, 80 RBI a year men. And then when people start talking about it and focusing on it, you have a tougher time driving runs in.
3-0 count here. Canseco will back out. Ray, to support that even more, a couple of games ago, the Red Sox number 4 slot, and a number of people have hit there, is batting .205 with 25 RBIs from the forehand.
Well, that's atrocious, and that's what Joe Morgan said, and that's one reason they're shaking up this lineup, to try to find somebody to produce in that 4th and 5th slot.
Canseco had a double his first time up. Second walk given up by Tom Bolton. This is all coming with 2 down. He got Gallego and Bordick on a couple of ground balls, and Henderson delivered the single, the double by Dave Henderson, scoring Ricky, and now runners at first and second for Baines.
Well, you mentioned how great a clutch hitter Hal Baines is. Talking to Tony La Russa, he had him in Chicago and felt that he was the best clutch hitter in the game when it comes to getting 2 outs, base hits. But you watch him, he'll go deep in the count unless it's exactly the pitch he's waiting for, getting a lot of 3-1 counts. Does not swing at the first pitch very often, knows what his limitations are, knows what his strengths are. He gets a good pitch to hit, and when you wait for that one pitch, you're more apt to drive it.
Well, look how hot he is. We're talking about that, his first at bat. He's just steaming up there. Grounded out his first time up. 2 down, 2 on, and he takes that away. Ball 2, Bolton behind, 2-0.
I learned later in my career, when you're 2-0, 3-1, you don't become more aggressive. That's when you become more selective. You don't want to swing at the pitcher's pitch. You want to focus in on your pitch in one area and not swing at anything unless it's right there. Occasionally you'll get fooled by a split finger or some type of changeup. But these great hitters do not be denied when it comes to getting a good pitch.
He'll foul that one off. 2 balls and 1 strike. He's right up there with Dave Henderson with runners in scoring position. Harold Baines, in fact, is ahead of him. He's batting .361. Oh, mercy. And Dave Henderson, as we said, right behind him at about .333 now with that last hit. 2 down, 2-1 delivery. Off-speed pitch fouled off. One of the best numbers. This figure of runners in scoring position is a number that is not formally kept really by the Major League Baseball offices until about 7 years ago. One of the best numbers ever was Mickey Mantle back in '61. when the Mick had a 348 season average with runners in scoring position. That's about as high as anybody has ever done. So you're talking about superior numbers with Baines and Dave Henderson.
And one thing that he'll do also, Harold Baines, is when now counts even 2-2, he'll start thinking about driving the ball the other way. He's off the plate, has that picture-perfect swing, raises that front foot to keep his weight back. But he likes to drive the ball right out there in left center field, just to the right of that scoreboard with 2 strikes.
He's got a 2-2 count here, 2 down, 2 on. 2-1 Red Sox lead. Nice stop by Tony Pena. Looked like a first baseman picking that one. A lot of pitches being thrown. Tom Bolton.
Well, he breezed by those first 2 innings, aided by the double play. This inning, not quite so breezy. Gary, all this, as you mentioned, happened with 2 outs, and he only had 11 or 12 pitches until Mr. Henderson got up there and ripped a single to left.
Bainesy's going to make him work a little further here with a count 3-2. Let me correct myself. I didn't think I was right on that, so I just looked here. Mickey Mantle in 61 with runners in scoring position hit 371. And that is about as good as it gets. 3-2 count, 2 down. Runners on at first and second. Dave Henderson the lead runner. Jose Canseco at first. Harold Baines trying to add to his RBI total of 45. Will fight another one off.
And it's interesting, Bolton has gone to the breaking ball 2 pitches in a row. Harold Baines fighting those pitches off. Very tough, sweeping, hard breaking ball from Bolton, but Baines, with that ability to fight off good pitches or tough pitches, still hanging in there.
3-2 count. What are you setting for here?
Well, I think Baines is looking for a fastball to drive the other way, and then he'll pull the breaking ball. It's hard to sit on a fastball in because you're going to be off the breaking ball. You'll be ahead of it. So he's trying to hit that fastball the other way, and then out to put him right on the breaking ball.
Runners go, and he's gone. First strikeout for Bolton, and he's taken Baines to an 0 for 2 now and preserves a 1-run lead. Winfield, 13 home runs, 10th in the league. He is chasing a Detroit Tiger by the name of Cecil Fielder, who's got 15, one behind the league leader Chili Davis. You'll see them both Sunday Night Baseball on ESPN. The Angels at the venerable Tigers Stadium, 8 o'clock Sunday night. John Miller and Joe Morgan will have it right here on ESPN. Jody Reed leads it off here against Mike Moore, a 2-1 ball game. Last night, seesaw affair, back and forth. 3 times each team up. Red Sox finally able to hang on to a 1-run win last night. Only took about 3 hours and 30 minutes. The A's have had some long games. They played a 3.5-hour game in Detroit the night before last, then flew here to Boston, played another 3.5-hour game. And I know nobody's crying out there when they're earning $12,000 a pitch. Who cares how long it takes them? 2 balls, no strikes. And Reed, who will work his way on when he can, got on with a walk and scored in the first inning, and the count's 3-0 on him here.
This is a fine little ball player. Talking about consistency, he had 293 in '88, 288 in '89, and 289 last year. Last year he had 45 doubles. A lot of people think you have to be big to pull a ball, but this guy can pull anybody.
He loves that wall. That's why that home average for him is so good. He can pick up doubles here at Fenway Park. Likes to shoot him right out there, scoot on down to second base. 3-1 count. And he's on, leading off the inning. That's the 3rd walk given up by Moore. Let's check in with John Saunders.
Twins and the Yankees. Here's something you won't see too often from a Gold Glover. Kirby Puckett back on this routine fly. Can of corn? Drops out of the bucket. A run would score later, and then Carlos Rodriguez with the safety squeeze. Espinosa comes in. The tag's too late. 2-1 Yankees. Back to Gary and Ray.
More of those young names for the New York Yankees. Tony La Russa giving the signs to Steinbach. And now he wants to work to Wade Boggs, who singled and scored in the first, upping his average The 316. Outside corner strike.
Well, we mentioned Jody Reed's double. He and Wade Boggs, the only two hitters in baseball with 40-plus doubles the last 2 years. Jody also had 42 in '89. Wade had 51 in '89 and 44 last year. So both of them play off that wall pretty consistent.
Boy, does Wade Boggs, huh? That's to short. Mike Gallego. Mike Bordick. Great turn by Bordick, who got leveled by Reed at second base. That is a major league pivot for the 25-year-old in his first start here.
Well, it surely is a great pivot, Gary. And one reason you see right here Gallego going back on the baseball, that allows the runner another couple of steps. Reed sliding hard, clipping the front foot of Bordick, causing him to throw the ball low, but watch him clipping. And then McGuire with that great reach, just picking the ball out of the dirt.
There you see what a major league pivot looks like and why you should never run down the first base position in Major League Baseball. A good first baseman saves a lot of infield errors for those kind of scoops. So 2 down. Clark doubled. That an RBI his first time up, and he does take the first pitch from Mike Moore. Strike one. Hitting at .218 right now, but you see over the last 11 games he's really helped that average. And he credits a lot of it to former major leaguer Hank Sauer, scout with the Giants. Clark very close to him, almost like a father figure, went out to him, and Sauer said to him, stop complaining about being a DH. Let the manager decide where you're going to play. You just go out there and get it done. And it seemed to have an effect. Jack Clark came back from the Red Sox West Coast trip after talking to Sauer and started putting up those numbers.
Well, Jack is a gamer. I always loved him when he was at San Francisco, and then when he went on to St. Louis, Whitey Herzog loved him and said that was really the beginning of dismantling of that ball club when he left in '88 to go to New York. Always been a devastating offensive force. Twice driving in over 100 runs, 3 times over 90. One of the most feared hitters in the National League when I was over there. Everybody tried to pitch around him. That's why he walked so much.
I bet Joe Morgan sent Hank Sauer about 4 dozen lobsters for that discussion. Made a manager's job a whole lot easier, getting Clark willing to participate as the DH. 3-2 with 2 down, and a check swing fouled off. That all came about because Clark had started to complain publicly about wanting to be traded to a team where he could play somewhat on a daily basis in a fielding position. That's how it all started.
Well, he feels like he's a better offensive player because he thinks so much about his offense when he's not playing. He was a solid defensive player in the National League, both in first base and in right field. And he just feels like a complete player when he's contributing offensively and defensively. And he thinks too much about his offense when all he does is go in there and sip coffee and Coke and swing his bat off a batting tee. He'd rather be able out there to participate.
Tough adjustment for a guy who's played every day to go to that DH. Moore's now given up 4 walks. Gave a leadoff walk in this inning to Reed. The double play got him out of that. 2 down. Clark draws the walk, and Greenwell's coming up. Fenway Park in Boston. Gary Thorne, Ray Knight, packed house in this second game of a 4-game series for these two teams. A 2-1 lead for the Boston Red Sox, who got RBIs from Clark and Greenwell in the first inning, scoring Reed and Boggs. Oakland responded with an RBI double by Dave Henderson in the third, driving in Ricky Henderson with 2 down. Those be the numbers to this point here. We've got 2 down in the bottom of the third. Greenwell single, and a 13-game hit streak now for Mike Greenwell. Ow. Moore might throw this one to the backstop. Outside corner, 1-1.
Well, Mike Greenwell likes the ball down, as most left-handers do. When Mike Moore is throwing well, he throws that sinker down in the strike zone. Thus far tonight, he's throwing most of his pitches from about thigh high up.
Moore misses that one inside. Greenwell is chasing his longest career streak now of 21 straight games back in 1989 that he hit safely in, up to 13 with his base hit tonight, and an average of 325. 2-1. 3 balls, 1 strike.
I spoke to Mike before the game. Everybody's talking about driving in runs around here. He drove in 119 in '88, then 95 and '89, and all the way down to 73 last year. He said he just did not see a lot of guys on base last year. He felt that he was just as consistent driving in runs. All ball players say that.
Good. Greenwell, and that'll be a foul ball. 3-2. With 2 down here, Greenwell will have to get on to give Tom Brunansky a chance at it this inning.
Also, he mentioned Greenwell that he hit 4th most of the time in those years behind Boggs and Barrett. And he said that Wade would seemingly always get a base hit or a walk, and Marty would either bunt him over or get him to 3rd, and he was always hitting with runners in 1st and 3rd situations.
That'll help your RBI output. That is a foul ball. There's one of those shots that can suddenly be a home run. He only had to go about another 20 feet there to be right at the foul pole.
Well, I remember the home run that Lenny Dykstra hit here in Game 3 of the World Series. We're down 2-0 in '86, and he hits just a routine, lazy fly ball down the right field line that everybody thought was going to go foul. You're talking about instant attitude change after being down 2-0. Second pitch of the game, dropping it right in there about 200, whatever it is over there, 80, I guess. They say it's about 290, but it looks about 280 when you're down there looking home.
Well, that's a mighty short home run. Well, that's what it is when you can get it there. But you got to get it there in a hurry because it goes deep at a big angle. 3-2, 2 down. Runner at first. A 2-1 ball game with Boston on top. Moore working to Greenwell, and Greenwell is second base. Picked up by Bordick. Over to McGuire, and that will do it. No runs, no hits. A base runner left on. We've completed the first 3 at Fenway in Boston. Red Sox leading.
ESPN Major League Baseball is brought to you by the Walker Advantage Muffler, the most advanced muffler you can buy, and by Ektar Film from Kodak. For advanced photographers, the genius is in the details.
Great to have you with us on ESPN's Friday night. First of 2, Gary Thorne, Ray Knight, and Terry Steinbach leading it off on this first day of summer. Boston, Toronto, Minnesota, Pittsburgh, and Los Angeles are leading their divisions. Bolton away. Steinbach ahead on the count, 2-0. These are the teams you picked to win in our ESPN poll.
Oh, yes, they are.
Are they?
I picked Toronto.
Picked Toronto? Yeah. Who didn't? And that one is up high. 3 balls, no strikes on Steinbach.
Well, I believe that Toronto possesses the better talent over Boston. They just have not been able to put it together. The pitching staff now with Steve injured, just really, as is most pitching staff seemingly in baseball now, they just are not very deep. You mentioned Oakland with all the injuries, but they've been able to withstand all that. 15-game winning streak by Minnesota, 14 by Texas, and still right there, only 2 games out.
Wade Boggs over to Carlos Quintana. Got off that bag in a hurry. 1 away. John?
Expos are a hot team, winners of 7 in a row, but Scott Scudder had a 2-0 lead when he faced Ivan Calderon. Not for long. With Delino DeShields aboard, the 2-run home run ties the game at 2 apiece in the 4th. Get back to you.
Cincinnati 6 games behind the Dodgers, who have won 5 in a row. That's a pretty big lead, even at this point in the season. Mark McGuire with 1 out takes it up high.
Who did you pick in that division?
Which
For the
division?
National West.
In the West, I picked the Dodgers because of their pitching. Which hasn't exactly, well, it has stood up, but they've gone through some injuries too, and had to move some people in and out. But I figured Hershiser would come back and be about as tough as ever. And if they could do that with Martinez and the rest. Shot to Greenwell. That's trapped. McGuire at first base. He's on with a single. So Mark McGuire delivers a 1-out single here in the 4th inning. And for the Oakland A's, potential tying run on with Vance Law coming up. Greenwell tried. Thought about taking the dive after this one.
Fastball again up out over the plate. Mark McGuire drilling it at left field. Greenwell trying to come up. A lot of balls caught like that. A lot of line drive base hits in left field are taken away from the left fielder because that wall is so close.
You're right, Ray. He's really learned how to play left field here in Fenway. Here's Law batting at 250. Get into a double play his first time up, fouls it off, and with one away, the Red Sox will see if Bolton can get another ground ball double play here. He had one in the first, one in the second. And left a couple of Oakland A's on in the third when they got their run. Vance 3 hits, 10 at-bats against the Red Sox thus far this season. The A's batting only .238 as a team against Boston. One of the reasons the Red Sox have won 3 of the first 4 games, including a couple in Oakland. That's to third. Boggs, a little trouble, gets it over. Reed again. Ground ball pitcher is certainly showing it tonight. 2-1 both sides. Plays raining in this game right now.
Well, again, there's that fastball down. Vance Law hitting it hard. Boggs making a good play on the ball that comes up on him. And from there on, it's just routine.
That means he's on. He had 5 double plays in this game already. Moore misses down low. As we go to the bottom half of the 4th inning, Brunansky, Quintana, and Tony Pena. And another slider away. 2 balls and no strikes. Our top-ranked crack statistician crew has come up with the figure on the record for double plays in a 9-inning ball game.
And that is 10 double plays, Minnesota versus Boston last year on an ESPN game, July the 18th. This Boston team can hit into them also because of the lack of speed we mentioned and the fact that they hit the ball hard on the ground.
Outside corner strike. Moore battles back. 2 balls, 2 strikes. On Brunansky, they drew an intentional pass in the first inning. First intentional pass for Brunansky this year, that first at bat, and he takes the count here, 3-2.
And I know you recall, Gary, that was the same series that featured the 2 triple plays by Minnesota in the game prior to that. You remember that, don't you?
I was just going to say something about that. 3 balls and 2 strikes.
So that was July the 17th.
Yes, that's right. I have it right here in the palm of my hand. Foul back.
It's the only note you have.
3-2. Bruno trying to get the bat going, set out a couple of games, took a lot of BP, and says it's paying off for him. Fouls that one back. Brunansky was acquired by the Red Sox for one very big reason, and Joe Morgan in fact talked about it. I remember the day of the trade. The Red Sox were on the West Coast. This is a tough hitter at Fenway Park and always has been. His career .315 batting average here at Fenway with 31 Fenway Park home runs. 3-2 delivery to him, and he's on. 5 walks for Mike Moore, and another leadoff walk. 2 innings in a row now. He's walked the leadoff batter. That'll drive Dave Duncan to the left and LaRussa to the right crazy.
Well, Steinbach set up outside, and then he comes back and sets up inside. He throws the ball right to his glove, just a little inside. Very tough pitch to take. The only reason Brunansky took that pitch was because he had to be favoring the outside part of the plate. But you can't take that pitch 3-2.
His high in walks this season was the first game he pitched in against Seattle when he walked 6. He walked 4 in his last start against Detroit, 5 before that in another start against Detroit. Now Quintana, a close play at first base with Tom Brunansky driving back in. Bruno's not stolen a base, been caught once.
Well, he just kind of sits there. This is a real close play here. I'll tell you one thing. His belt buckle got hung up in that dirt over there, and he did the floppy tuna.
Floppy tuna. 2-1 Boston lead. bottom row of teeth tend to get a little dirty when the floppy tuna develops. Carlos likes home cooking. And a pitch out. Yeah, I don't know why they would think Tom Brunansky is running here unless Quintana is going to have a hit and run. But obviously Tony thought that. And Terry Steinbach takes the cues from the skipper.
Quintana is an excellent hit and run man. Hits the ball exceptionally well to the right side. Good contact hitter.
He's got a lot of room on the right side. Bordick moved over towards the bag, the second baseman. 1-0 count on him. And an inside corner strike right at the knees by Moore. Even the count at a ball and a strike.
Mentioning Quintana likes the ball away. There you see the center fielder about 10 feet to the right of second base. Left fielder around left center field. Ricky Henderson. Don't expect him to pull the ball at all.
And another pitch out again, looking for that hit and run, but Brunansky's not going. 2 balls and 1 strike. A 2-1 ball game, so being played very carefully here in the 4th inning.
Well, 2-1 is the ideal time to hit and run. Not very many pitchers or managers will pitch out 2-1. They don't want to go to 3-1. But the best count in all of baseball to hit and run on is 2-1 count. Let's see what Joe Morgan's saying.
Nobody out here. Quintana to even 300 batting average. Moore thinking it still may be in. Trying to get Brunansky to lean the other way as he takes his lead. Boston Red Sox have just been such a struggle for Moore, and it's proving to be that way again here tonight. Just does not have easy outings against Boston. 2-1 delivery, and Quintana takes it down low for a ball. Moore has lost 7 consecutive games to the Boston Red Sox, and he hasn't won here at Fenway Park since July of 1986. That 5-11 lifetime record and a 5.64 earned run average against Boston.
Well, Gary, you mentioned the hit and run. I always like to see managers run guys 3-1 also, especially with nobody out, especially with a guy at the plate that makes contact. Get that runner to first and third with that third hitter coming up there. In the inning, Tony Pena hitting 7th tonight.
It's a real cat-and-mouse game going on right now. And Brunansky trying to lengthen that lead at first base to draw another throw. 3-1. There goes Bruno. Hit and run was on. Gallego. They get one. Bordick's throw is off the side of the dugout. Quintana's going to second as Steinbach will pick it up. Bordick, second time he's been level. That time probably should have held on to the baseball. And the cheer is for this man, Brunansky, for taking Bordick out on the pivot.
And Tony La Russa going out to question whether or not Brunansky went right into the bag. The rule is now that you can go into the bag as long as you can reach the bag with your hand. He actually hits him behind the bag. It's going to be an umpire judgment call, but Bordick, with the ball hit that hard, has one thing on his mind to turn it, but he has no chance there as Brunansky throws up his right leg to knock him down.
Tony La Russa just showed the second base umpire where he thought the slide was, saying he was on the shortstop side of the bag heading into the outfield. That was not a slide towards the bag. But Darrell Cousins does not agree. And Quintana will reach on a fielder's choice. An error will be charged to Bordick on the throw, allowing Quintana to move down to second base.
Well, Bordick tries to go toward the outfield, which you're taught to do at second base. On a ball that's hit that hard, you try to use the bases protection, but as you see, there was not very much protection there when he slid behind the bag. On that angle, it was much more obvious that Brunansky did slide late and slide into the left field area, or toward left field.
Now Tony Pena with an RBI situation. Fouls it back, strike one, 1 down. Quintana's on at second base. Red Sox leading 2-1. Boy, Bordick had himself quite a start here at Fenway. All his family and friends watching. He's been decked twice at second base on pivots.
Well, there's not a thing he can do about that, because the first thing you do is check the speed of the runner and then the speed of the ball. Knowing that Brunansky's at first, even though he was going, you try to turn, and if Brunansky had not made that slide, that aggressive slide, he would have been out of the way going toward left field, throwing the ball back to first base.
Pena, good clutch hitter, 299 last year with runners in scoring position. Moore trying to stay away from him, misses down low with that pitch. One down. Moore having to work very hard this inning. 1-1 count.
Gary showing you what that aggressive base running will do. Not only the slide, but the fact that Joe Morgan did send the runner 3-1, kept him out of the double play, and gives him a chance to pad this lead.
Pena with a 3-game hit streak coming into tonight. I used to say a modest 2 or 3 or 4 game hit streak, and then did you correct me or somebody else? Somebody else said to me there is no such thing as a modest hit streak. You got one. You got one. Whether it's 20 or 2. I couldn't argue with that, so there are no more modest hit streaks. 2 ball, 1 strike count on Tony Pena. Moore high and away, 3-1. Tony La Russa's staff is really starting to get to him. See him talking. Look at Dave Duncan, the pitching coach. Just spread his hands and I don't know. Three-1 count. Quintana, good lead at second base. They're not holding him close to the bag. Outside corner strike.
Steinbach really shifting out, framing the plate. 3-1 count there. He was on the outside part of the plate with the middle of his body, wanting the pitch away. Let's see what he does here. Looks like he wants the fastball away. Now he changes it. Tony doesn't like all that.
Tony is one of those players who talks to everybody all the time. Say, what are you doing?
Oh, he'll drive you crazy. When he was with Pittsburgh, he used to drive me crazy. There's no way not to pay any attention to him because it's non-stop chatter.
3-2 count, 1 out. Look out. He's on. 6 walks given up by Moore, equaling his season high. 2 again in this inning. First and second, 1 out. Let's check in with John.
The Angels and the Tigers, here's something you do not see very often. In fact, you won't see it this time. Mickey Tettleton takes it back. The cameraman can't believe it. The ball is completely out of Tiger Stadium. 21st time that's ever happened to right field. Last time was 3 years ago. Back to you.
Sparky's Mashers. That is not good. First and second, 1 out. Infield will play for 2 with Rivera, the number 9 hitter, taking a strike.
Well, you don't really know what triggers wildness. You see guys their whole career go through and be control type pitchers. I remember Steve Blass, who had that mental thing with Pittsburgh and never really came out of it. Guys like Mike Moore always being control type pitchers around the plate, and then all of a sudden something goes haywire and they can't find the strike zone. I mean, when he misses bad up and in. It's not like he's just missing the corner of the plate by 3 or 4 inches. He's missing by a good foot or 2. The pitch to Tony Pena, 3-2. He tries to locate it inside part of the plate, and he got it inside about 2 feet, up about a foot.
Those 9 league-leading wild pitches tell you something as well, Ray. Swung on a miss. Good pitch there.
Gary, it looks like to me he's controlling his breaking ball and his changeup, but his fastball he's having trouble locating, and that should be the easiest pitch. Here's a breaking ball. He starts it right there, outside part of the plate, and it goes down. All those breaking balls have been right there on the outside part of the plate. It's just when he's gone to his fastball, he's either bounced it or thrown it up and out of the strike zone. And he should be able to control it. And they're total right there. More balls than strikes. 39 balls and 36 strikes. And they'd like to see a 3-to-1 strike-to-ball ratio.
1-2 count on Rivera with 2 Red Sox on, and he tops that one to first. Be a tough play. McGuire's got none. That's a fair ball. No. Foul ball. They'll take it back. Boy, I thought he had touched that before it crossed the jog.
Well, Gary, he fooled me also. Here's a ball hit off the end of the bat. That's a corkscrew. The first baseman knows that the ball is bound to go foul. He goes up there, then he stops, and let's just watch it all the way. Ball comes. He doesn't touch it. He watches it. It's got that sideways spin on it. As soon as it goes foul, he touches it.
Ooh. I thought he touched it the first time Mark McGwire reached down. I thought he had put the end of the glove on it, but did not. Joe Brinkman, first base umpire, and Reed, the home plate umpire, both there.
Well, that's why we have cameras, because from up here, we're looking almost down that first baseline. It looked like he touched the ball.
Until the ball goes by the bag, it is the home plate umpire's call. First base umpire Joe Brinkman standing there just waited. He was watching, he was right there, but he knew Reed was running up the line, the home plate umpire, and so he made no call until Reed had determined the ball was not touched. Reed actually had a better angle because he was running towards the ball. McGwire was between the first base umpire and the baseball. 1 ball, 2 strikes, 1 out, 2 on for the Red Sox. And that misses inside. A 2-1 Boston lead. And this one's turning into another struggle for these two teams.
And again, Mike Moore goes to the fastball 1 and 2 and has trouble locating it. He's just not been able to go to that fastball when he needs to make a pitch and locate it and throw it for a strike.
Dave Stewart's problem last night, and has been since he came back off the DL, is his location of pitches. He can't get the split-fingered forkball pitch where he wants it. Ricky puts it away, and there are 2 down. 2 away, 2 on. Top of the order, Ellis Burks. Quintana at second base. And Tony Pena on at first. Well, here's the very situation that resulted in Ellis Burks being moved from the number 3 spot to the number 1 spot.
You're going to see some numbers in Ellis here. With bases empty, 273, runners on 218. But look at that. Runners in scoring position. You mentioned that 370 average of Mickey Mantle. And it's, you know, anything above 300 is outstanding when runners in scoring position. But 133 is almost unheard of.
You got to look to the bottom to find it. And here's a guy who last season hit 306 with runners in scoring position, and a lot of at-bats. I mean, it was a genuine 306 batting average.
Well, that's one reason that Joe Morgan had talked about him being the third place hitter, because he drove in 89 runs last year with 21 home runs and 33 doubles. 88, he drove in 92 runs the years that he hit third and fifth. When he hits first, he scores more runs because he's obviously up there more, and had 61 RBIs in 89 when he hit first. But they thought that he was the prototype third place hitter that could run, hit with power, steal some bases, and drive in runs. But this year he's just been atrocious with runners in scoring position, and they just moved him up to the front of the order, hoping that he'd get on base and steal some bases.
Try and figure it out, Ray. 3 years in a row he's batted over 300 with runners in scoring position, and all of a sudden go to 133. 2-0 delivery to him is outside. Not only that, he led the league last year with a 341 batting average with runners in scoring position and 2 outs.
Well, Joe mentioned that. He thought that he would be the ideal third place hitter. He likes to bat Boggs first. He thinks his strongest lineup is Boggs first, Jody Reed at second, batting second, Burks third, and Clark, and then Brunansky or Greenwell fifth and sixth. And he's just thrown a wrench in it by not being able to drive in these big runs. And it magnifies because nobody but Brunansky is really driving in the key runs. You get in the last inning, 7th inning, 8th inning, with runners on second base and 2 outs. Only Brunansky has been driving in those runs in this ball club. Not Greenwell, not Burks, not Boggs.
3-1 count here, 2 down and 2 on towards third. Law, tough play at a side saddle, gets it over to Bordick. Moore throws a lot of pitches, walks 2, but he gets out of the inning, leaving 2 Red Sox on. Sox up by a run. Tied for first in the division. 2-1 lead here for the Red Sox as we go to the 5th inning. Mike Moore hasn't struck anybody out, has walked 6. Tom Bolton, the left-hander, 1 strikeout, a couple of walks. Dave Henderson's RBI double in the 3rd, the only run for the A's. 2 first-inning runs for Boston, Clark and Greenwell, the RBIs, as Mike Gallego takes the first pitch for a strike. The A's are not playing well on the road right now. They are 15 and 19, and that's unusual. This team won 52 games. on the road last season. They are hitting better on the road than at home. Gallego to center. Burks. One out. But they are not pitching well on the road. That's been a problem. On the road, Auto Racing live from Le Mans, France, the 24 hours of tomorrow. Look at the start time now, 9:50 tomorrow night for the first of 2 days of coverage, and Sunday at 9:30 in the evening, live from Le Mans, France, the 24 hours of Le Mans right here on ESPN. Mike Bordick looking for his first major league hit, and he's got it off the wall. Greenwell will get it in again, and for the third time, Mike Greenwell plays the wall perfectly. Mike Bordick's got his first major league hit. He'll remember that.
Bolton throws him a fastball down the middle of the plate, belled high. Bordick deposits it about 330 feet right off the halfway up the wall. But this is what impresses me about Mike Greenwell. One hands the ball, comes back. There's just no chance to go when that ball gets back and carries off that wall so quickly.
Bordick on at first. Ricky's 2 for 2, 2 singles, and has scored the A's run, raising his average to 279.
Gary, he makes it look so easy. I've come in here both in Detroit and Baltimore and watched left fielders run all up and down that wall trying to catch up to the ball. And he knows exactly the angle to play. He makes it look easy.
You do have to practice that. You don't just come out and play left field here in Boston. Take some fly balls and watch them bounce around out there. It'll scare you. It'll eat you up if you play it wrong. Strike taken on the outside corner. Shortstops and center fielders have to really work here at Fenway. Shortstops must run out when balls hit off the wall, because many times you'll see the ball actually played by a shortstop here at Fenway Park, and the outfielder doesn't position himself correctly.
Well, and one big reason I think that Ellis Burks won the Gold Glove last year is his ability to play these nooks and crannies of this ballpark. 420 out there in right center field, 379, and just all kinds of angles. Ellis Burks, premier center fielder defensively in the American League last year.
Ricky's towards the gap. Greenwell will have to play that, and Henderson is 3 for 3. And the A's have runners on at first and second here in the 5th inning with one away, as Tom Bolton, who had been getting all ground balls, is now giving up line drives.
Well, Bolton makes a good pitch here, Gary. It's not that he's getting up in the zone. This ball is right down there where it's supposed to be, but Ricky, with that great extension and concentration, just drove the ball in left field. He had a very good pitch right there.
Bill Fisher on the bullpen phone, the pitching coach for the Red Sox. 7 hits now off Tom Bolton. Remember, Bolton's 11 and 2 here at home. 2 on Dave Henderson.
There's that big, slow, tantalizing breaking ball that you just don't see hitters swing at that pitch. They end up taking it and freezing on it. It appears to be away, and it just keeps on coming, keeps on coming.
Dangerous situation here for Bolton. Dave Henderson had the RBI in the 2nd inning when he picked up a double. Hendu batting at .329 now with 46 runs batted in. Lamp is up. Dave Henderson chasing on. 1 and 2. Hasn't had a home run in 11 games. Long time, Dave.
Well, this is what you're talking about, setting up a hitter. Big breaking ball, then that outshoot, the fastball that runs away. Just nothing you can do about that. I'm surprised that Dave swung at that pitch, but it appears to be on the center part of the plate and just dives on the outside part down.
Great pitch. Floats another one out there. Not chasing this time. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
Well, I wouldn't be surprised to see him bust Dave in. You try not to show a hitter the pitch you want to get him out on until that critical time. He's gone away with everything, breaking ball and fastball. See if he comes back and busts him inside off the plate.
Woodrick and Henderson are the base runners. Nasty pitch. Second strikeout for Bolton. Both of them have been important. We got Baines in the third inning with 2 on. And he gets Dave Henderson here with 2 on.
Well, it's just that sinker. He drops down on it. The ball just sinks right there. Not a good pitch for the hitter to swing at, but that deception, keeping everything down. Dave Henderson looking down, and the ball just really sinking out of the strike zone.
Only 39 times Dave Henderson has struck out. Pena goes out to talk with Bolton with Jose Canseco coming up. A 2-1 lead for Boston. Bolton trying to keep it that way in the 5th. I'm not sure there's a player in the majors right now, Ray, who draws as much fan attention as this one.
No, I don't think so. I think he's the biggest drawing card in baseball now. You think of the Roger Clemenses, but this man right here, everybody knows who he is. He's high profile. He's got that air and attitude about him that attracts people to him, whether it's positive or negatively.
He loves to respond by winding up and putting the baseball out of sight. He did last night.
Well, I've never felt that, other than power pitchers like Nolan Ryan, the Tom Seavers that strike out a lot of people, home run hitters are the people that attract fans to ballparks. They want to come and sure give you those 300 hitters, but those men that can hit it out there 450, 500 feet. You know, people just come to watch batting practice and watch guys like Jose and Cecil Fielder hit balls.
See, he's been driving the ball out. This has not been a particularly good park for him. A .225 lifetime hitter at Fenway with 6 home runs. 2-0 count on him. He winds up towards short. That's going to be stopped. He got the out. Mark that one on your scorecard. That will preserve a Red Sox lead here in the 5th inning. Canseco is robbed of an RBI. At Fenway Park in Boston, the Red Sox continue to hold the 2-1 lead, but only because of outstanding defensive plays in this game, double plays, and this one.
Well, Jose hits the ball a little off the end of the bat. Ricky Henderson, you mentioned his leg, but what a tremendous play by Rivera there, just totally extended, coming up and making the play with the fleet Ricky on first base.
Saved the 1-run lead. This is Jody Reed. Boggs and Clark will follow here in the bottom half of the 5th inning. Oakland out hitting the Red Sox 7-3, but trailing 2-1 as the A's have stranded 6. The Red Sox rather have stranded 6 thus far in the ball game, and the A's have left on 5, including 3 in scoring position. Not typical of the A's. 1 ball, 1 strike.
Well, Joe Morgan talked about them leaving, the Red Sox leaving runners on base all year, Gary, and tonight has not been the exception.
Woodrick got that one in the air. Then there's one away. John?
Astros and the Phillies and Wally Bachman and Mark Portugal having some words here back and forth. We're not sure what about. But Dickie Thorne must have known, because he comes charging out of the dugout to go after Portugal. The bench is clear, and we're still not sure what it was all about. In this game, Mickey Morandini does have a home run. Philadelphia up 3-0 in the 8th. Back to you.
Wade Boggs taking the first pitch, and it's down low, ball 1. Boggs single and scored in the first inning. That hit into a double play, batting at .315 now. And Mike Moore continues to work behind hitters. 2-0 on Boggs. He'd have built a ballpark for himself to hit in. This would have been it. Right place, right time for Boggs. 2 balls, 1 strike. Absolutely annihilates pitchers on games here at home, and always has. .369 is his batting average this season here at Fenway.
Hey, Gary, and it sets him up for other ballparks too, because he likes to hit the ball to left field. He has probably the best inside out stroke, he and Tony Gwynn. So what it does, it keeps you on the breaking ball. You pull the breaking ball on the changeup and hit the fastball the other way.
Good fastball. That may be as hard as we've seen Mike Moore throw. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Boggs is asking whether or not it was in the strike zone. Oof. Does matter, doesn't it?
Well, it does. And, you know, in a situation like this, all Wade has to do is get a good piece of the ball, and he hits the ball off that long left field. He can't do that in other ballparks.
That one will be away, and the count goes full on Boggs. 3 balls and 2 strikes. Moore's 3-2, and he's done it again. Another walk. That's 7 in the game. John?
Expos in the Reds, and Tim Burke, no longer the closer for Montreal, comes in here early. Chris Sabo, his 2nd home run of the game. This a 2-run shot, number 10 on the year. It's now a 7-2 game. Let's go back to Gary and Red.
Wade Boggs will increase the on-base percentage. 5th best in the league, draws the walk. Moore's given up 7. That's a high for him this season. And Clark will double it a run in the 1st inning with 1 out. Boy, do they play him the full.
Well, they better play him the full. Tom Seaver felt that when I was with him in Cincinnati that Jack Clark was the best middle-end fastball hitter that he had ever faced. He and Darrell Evans left-handed hitter, but Jack has very short arms. Tom said that all hitters with short arms has ability to hit the pitch inside because they don't have to extend that much. You notice most of the American League pitchers pitch Jack away. And I don't blame him because he's devastating from the middle end.
That's exactly what Hank Sauer, we mentioned earlier, talked to Jack Clark, told him 2 things. Sauer said, get closer to the plate because the bat you use is too short to reach anything outside. And the second, keep that front foot down. Don't start picking it up when you start to swing.
Well, he was hot early in the year and hit 3 or 4 home runs in the 1st week. Then he started swinging at pitches off the plate. That pitch right there is nasty. And Jack is, as we mentioned early in the game, has had some problems with the calls in the outside part. Already this year, Gary has been called out 25 times on call 3rd strikes. That's more than I probably was called out my whole career because 2 strikes, you've got to be hacking.
1 ball, 2 strikes, 1 out, runner at 1st. Boggs, that one misses away again. Just what Ray was talking about as Moore stays away, 2-2.
Steinbach really shifting back there behind the plate. Set up outside with the middle of his chest protector on the outside corner of the plate. Moore just tries to split him down the middle. Again, shifting outside.
Outside of 1st base, Mark McGuire's got plenty of room. And he will put it away, and there are 2 down. John?
Mets and the Braves in Atlanta, 4th inning. Frank Viola with a 2-0 lead. But Brian Hunter with 2 aboard. The 3-run home run gives the Braves the lead. Now 3-2 in the 6th. Back to Gary and Ray.
I don't think Frank was happy with that. Frank Viola's free agent. He wants big wins. Off-season negotiations with anybody who wants to talk big dollars, including the Mets. 2 down here. Runner on at 1st base. Boggs. A 2-1 ball game. Boston leading, getting their runs in the 1st. Mike Greenwell contributing as he had a single and an RBI, 1 for 2. 324 on the season now. And Mike Moore has done a good job here. I mean, he's walked 7, hasn't struck anybody out, but has given up only 3 hits. It's been an effort for Moore. 31-year-old into Greenwell. And they want to see if he went around on it. Not even close. 2 balls, no strikes.
Well, this is where Mike can just look for that pitch middle in. He likes the ball kind of out over the plate. 2-0. One of those guys that really hits the crippled pitches, the 2-0, 3-1 pitches very well.
He's a 344 hitter at home this year. Add another to that. Boggs taking the turn at 2nd base. Canseco will throw to the cutoff man Gallego. Greenwell's got a couple of hits. 1st and 3rd, 2 down. So the Red Sox trying to mount Well, a 2-out rally here in the 5th.
Another fastball out over the plate, right down the middle and up, right on the barrel of the bat. Greenwell, just with that real sweet string, short stroke hit right on the baseball. Stand behind the ball and just hit a bullet between first and second.
That is the first hit the Sox have had since the first inning. Just their 4th of the game. 3 in the first and 1 here in the 5th. Mike Moore now getting himself in a bit of trouble here by giving out that 1-out walk to Boggs. Now he's got to face the guy who's been producing the RBIs. He's been walked twice, once intentionally. He and Mark McGwire so comparable. Batting averages are de minimis. RBIs are outstanding. Mark's just over 200 producing. Bernansky's hitting 207, and he's got 41 runs batted in. A little off that pitch, 1-1.
Gary, you're talking about pitching. We're just in the 5th inning, and that was the 101st pitch for Mike Moore. But again, that changeup that he's locating very well. Curveball he's getting over for the strike. Slider having a tough time throwing the fastball for strikes. Another breaking ball.
Did not go around. I think Bernansky thought he had. Brinkman at first says no. And it's 2-1.
Breaking ball, Bernansky looking for the fastball, starting to swing, sees the breaking ball, tries to hold up. Said he didn't go, but I'll tell you one thing. If they're using the front part of that plate, he swung.
That's about as far as I've seen a batter go in 3-4 years without getting a strike call on a check swing. 2-1 delivery to him, and Moore. See how important that call is going to be, because the count is now 3-1.
Well, Bruno, dead fastball hitter, likes the ball inside. High ball fastball hitter. And this is one situation, 3-1, that he shouldn't look for anything but a fastball up and in.
264.
Trying to go away again. Sorry, George.
264 with runners in scoring position. We talked about him picking up the big RBIs. There's that changeup you were talking about.
Well, sometimes it's hard to lay off that changeup because it appears to be a fastball, same arm speed, and there it is, that changeup with a little bit of movement in. But it appears to be a fastball, and you just can't pick up the change of speeds.
Boggs at third, Greenwell at first, 3-2 and 2 down, and Bernansky to left field. Ricky Henderson will make the catch. And Moore is a survivor in this one. No runs, 1 hit, 2 left on. Game that is up for grabs. As you see the line score, the 2 runs in the first inning. All the young folks on hand. School is out. Kids are at the ballpark. Gloves ready to roll. Harold Baines, designated hitter. Tom Bolton delivers inside to him. Baines is 0 for 2, dropping his average to .338. And Bolton makes it 1 ball, 1 strike. He had a slow start, but since. Harold chases one by Bolton that time, 1-2.
Here you see the difference in tone set in this ball game. 2-1 game. Bolton comes with his big sweeping breaking ball. Baines really having no chance. That ball just keeps on going away from you. And the speed as much as the break gets you out.
Rivera on the tapper, and that'll get Baines. And Baines is a good hitter against left-handers too. .318 this year, but he's 0 for 3 against left-hander Tom Bolton tonight. And there's one away.
The tone of the game, you see that every inning, it seems like Mike Moore is struggling. 3-2 on every hitter, seemingly. Walking a couple of guys. Bolton has just continued to stay ahead in the strike zone, has been hit hard. You know, only 3 or 4 times the balls that have been hit hard have been line drives, low. Hasn't gotten the ball up in the strike zone, but he looks in command to me. Has not gotten flustered.
2 walks, 2 strikeouts. And he gets the strike on Steinbach. He's only had 1 man leadoff batter on. That was in the first inning, Ricky Henderson. Since then, he's gotten that leadoff man out, and that makes a world of difference. 0-1 delivery. Steinbach fouls it off. Bolton ahead, 0-2.
Bolton, one of those guys, spent 9 years in the minor leagues. If you were to be a scout and watch him, you wouldn't sign him because he throws about 86 miles an hour. Doesn't impress you, but type of guy that with location and that big breaking ball gets major league hitters out.
Well, look at that. He's had 2 of them reach, a right-hander and a left-hander. As Jody Reed makes that play, 2 weak ground balls by Baines and Steinbach, and there are 2 down in the 6th inning.
Well, just taking a little off and putting a little on, changing speeds. Mentioned him having 2 fastballs, a 4-seamer and a sinker, Gary, but he throws those fastballs at varying speeds. He'll throw 183, 185, 187 when he rides that 4-seamer. Bill Fisher says there's 4 or 5 miles an hour difference in the speed of his sinker and his fastball. And although they're both fastballs, a hitter has to adjust to that 4 or 5 miles an hour change. Then he throws his changeup about 74, 75, his breaking ball about 68 to 70. So there's about 5 variations of pitches that you have to adjust to.
As long as you can throw those for strikes, hitters are in trouble, and he's doing that tonight. Falls behind on Mark McGwire, 2 balls and no strikes. McGwire batting at .217 with a single his last time up, walked his first time up, and takes it outside for a ball. McGwire has picked up 53 walks this season, almost equaling his strikeouts at 57. Helps that on base percentage. 3-1. He's had 3 hits against Boston this year. 2 of them been home runs. Draws the walk this time. 3 given by Bolton. Let's check in with John Saunders.
Angels and the Tigers. We showed you Mickey Tettleton's home run over the right field wall. Well, here he's batting from the right side now and sends this one just to the wrong part of the ballpark. But Gallagher with a great grab back there. Rob Deere says this is how it's done. You got to pull it a little bit. Sends this 2-run home run back, his 14th of the year. 6-1. Tigers are up.
That's how they're going to win ball games.
What are you talking about, bashing the baseball?
My gosh. Dangerous club. 2 down. 2-1 lead for Boston in the 6th inning. And Vance Law has hit into 2 double plays tonight. Here, there are 2 down with McGwire on at first base. Started out with all those double plays and we slacked off. Had 5 double plays in the first 4 innings. Bolton gets the strike, 1-1. Fans have the wave going here at Fenway Park. Having a clue. Here's the 1-1. Center field. Ellis Burks. That'll do it. Oh, no runs, no hits, and a base runner left on, and Tom Bolton continues to protect that 1-run lead. Everybody wants Greg Swindell. Carlos Quintana leading it off to third. Vance Law is right there. And Mike Moore, 1 pitch and 1 out here in the top half of the 6th inning with the bottom third of the Red Sox order. Tony Pena to be followed by Luis Rivera. Moore hanging in, trying to get a victory here. 8-5 after a 7-2 start. Pitching well after the first inning when Clark and Greenwell had RBIs. 2 runs, 3 hits in that first inning with a couple left on. Since then, only 1 hit. Pena, 3-game hit streak, not extended yet here tonight, batting .255 on the season. Was on with a walk in the 4th after a ground ball out. The pitcher's first time up. And Moore high and away, 1 ball, 1 strike. 2 teams will go at it 2 more times. This homestand to Boston before Oakland will head back home. Move on with their Texas-Minnesota series at home and away. They won't mind getting home after this road trip. They need a couple of wins to make it look worthwhile. Having won only 2 out of 7. 2-1 count on Pena. Just jammed in here at Fenway Park again tonight. And an outside corner strike on the slider. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
Mike Moore only completed 3 games last year. He was with Seattle, Gary. He averaged 12 complete games a year from 1985 to 1988. Shows you what happens when you get to a bullpen that has a closer like Eckersley. You know, it has to go as far.
Shallow right field. Canseco, Burdick, Jose, did see, and there are 2 down. 2 away, nobody on with Rivera coming up. First half of our ESPN Friday night doubleheader here at Fenway Park. Barry Thorne reined for the second half. The Chicago Cubs and the San Francisco Giants coming up. Steve Physioc and Dave Campbell are there to bring you that one from Candlestick Park. The Giants continuing to struggle out of last place in the West right now. Chicago Cubs, many picked them to win it in that National League East. They're 9.5 games out. They too just out of the cellar. Moore with 2 down and nobody on, and Rivera takes a strike. The Sox are averaging here over 31,000 at home, 1,026,000 drawn in 33 home days. High with that, 1-1. Just open the gates and collect the cash. It'll be an old ballpark, but it makes the seats precious. 2-1. Do you like playing here?
Oh, I really do. You saw the ball extremely well. Wind feels fast. Outfield, you have the big gap in right center field. Big thing is you see the ball because the lights are right on top of the field.
2-1 pitch to right. It's going to be trouble. Canseco is not going to get it, and it gets by all the way to the wall. Luis Rivera's on his way around second base. Rivera going for the inside the park home run. He'll try it. Relay throw to McGuire coming to the plate inside the park. Rivera. Inside the park home run for Luis Rivera. And the Red Sox lead it by a score of 3-1. His 4th home run of the season, 19th RBI, and he won't forget that one. Canseco thought about making the shoe top catch, then tried to one-hop it, and did neither. The fans are chanting at him in right field. Deep to right field towards the wall. Burks off. Midway up. He'll go into second base with a stand-up double. Mike Moore getting tagged. La Russa pacing.
Fastball again, middle in. Burks loves a fastball in. Ricky Henderson getting a little deke out there. Comes up, tries to think he's going to get Burks snapping, going around second. Short throw in.
Ellis Burks getting the double in the 6th inning. The fans are really on Canseco in right field. La Russa's out to the mound. Guzman has been warming up in the bullpen. And Canseco mighty alone right now in right field in Fenway Park. One of those you take a chance, you win or lose.
Well, Gary, you always want to play aggressively, especially with 2 outs. But after you cannot make the play, you try to get in front of the ball and knock it down. The ball may have took a little funny hop because Jose really reacted with his glove. Watch him here. He sees he can't get it, but the ball kind of takes a funny hop because he looks like he's trying to almost get out of the way of the ball. What he should have been doing is, once you don't make the play, you've got to knock the ball down and try to keep the runner on first base.
The last inside the park home run came on September 1st in '90. Mike Greenwell got one off Greg Canaray here at Fenway. Billy Buckner had one here at Fenway off Kirk McCaskill on April 25 of '90. Greenwell had one before that here at Fenway Park in '89, July 7 of '89. Now Luis Rivera, the inside the park shot. 1 ball, 1 strike, 2 down. Boston up 3-1. 6 hits for the Red Sox now. A home run and the double in this inning. And Reed takes the pitch up high, 2-1. He doesn't get many home runs of any kind, much less inside the park.
That's a long run out there at 380. Once that ball gets past the right fielder, most right fielders are 330 down the line, and they stay there till they get out to right center to about 375. We mentioned the configuration of this ballpark, how it's about 290 or so down the right field line, and just goes straight out to 380. And once that ball gets by you, you see the right field line there, you've got a long haul to go catch up with it.
And he knew it. That ball was kept rolling around the wall, and he was running, and the ball was rolling, and never had a chance on Rivera. 2-2 count with 2 down. Burks at second base. Steinbach down to block it, and Moore about at the end of the tether. 2-2 count. 3-2 count here.
Well, especially with Wade Boggs coming up next. If Moore does not get Jody Reed here, I anticipate Tony making the move to Johnny Guzman, the left hand of the bullpen.
Boggs waiting on deck. Reed has been on twice with 2 walks. 3-2 count on him here. 2 down. Burks with a big lead at second base. And a good off-speed pitch by Moore. That's his first strikeout. Inside the park home run by Luis Rivera. 3-1 Boston.
ESPN Major League Baseball is brought to you by Budweiser, the king of beers, who reminds you friends know when to say when. And by Delta Airlines. We love to fly, and it shows.
Luis Rivera needed time to recuperate, and did. He has given the Red Sox a 3-1 lead. There's your line over 6 here at Fenway Park. Gary Thorne, Ray Knight. A's very much in this game, but Tom Bolton is bearing down, not allowing the A's to get the big hits. Gallego, Bordick, and Henderson. Ricky against Tom Bolton here in the 7th inning. 6 stranded by the A's. Gallego chops a foul by his own dugout. Jose down in the corner. When you are a star, there's a lot of cheering, but also a lot of the other stuff.
Well, you can't make a mistake. I tell you, they expect you to be flawless or almost perfect out there. That's what those big bucks do for you, Gary. When I went to New York in 1984, being traded from Houston, I tell you what, it was the worst place I'd ever played. Fans were all over me. I'd pulled a groin muscle and had vertigo and kidney stone problems and just was not a good player. And then in '85, I had the same problems with an elbow problem and a shoulder problem. And the fans were unmerciful. I just hated going to the ballpark. Finally in '86, everything went well. and they got on my bandwagon, and it was the greatest place in the world to play. You were there, and the fans can be tough, boy. And I never made that kind of money.
Yeah. Yeah, there's no question. One thing the money thing has done is the fans feel much freer, I think, in baseball now to let you have it. You don't produce on every at-bat and every time you pitch and every defensive play. They just nail you. Gallego with a 2-2 count.
And too, it's an outlet for the fans. A lot of us players have to realize that. They come to the ballpark after work, you know, with a lot of stress, and it's their way of getting that frustration out, yelling at a $2 million ball player and saying anything in the world you want to say, and him not being able to do a thing in the world about it.
Jose did get at least one guy thrown out. 3 balls, 2 strikes. Gallego just trying to get on here down the left field line towards the corner. Greenwell at the wall makes the catch. That had the potential to be one of those paint scrapers, but missed by a couple of inches. John?
Cards in the Padres underway now, and watch Thomas Howard against Rex Hudler here. Comes up with a great leaping catch, and then Biff Roberts would drive in Thomas Howard to get the Padres on the board. Oh, doctor, as Red Barber used to say. Back to you.
That old doctor is Jerry Coleman hanging a star, the broadcaster for the San Diego Padres. 1 down here, and that'll bring up Bordick, who had his hit in the 5th inning, a single. Right at him, 0-2. Bordick here because of the injuries to the infielders of the A's. Hoping to put on a strong enough show so that he'll get to stay for a while. Getting the opportunity here tonight in his first start. Towards third, Wade Boggs. And Bolton's got another ground ball out. 2 down in the 7th inning. Remember at one point they said he couldn't play third base, that he wasn't a defenseman.
Well, Gary, you're right. He has worked so hard in his game. Out there today at 4 o'clock taking ground balls. But watch how he gets his glove down on the ground, starts it down, and brings it up as the ball jumps up to you. You're always taught to start with your glove low, react to the high hop. That's the 2nd time he's made a play on those overspin ground balls that jump up in your belly button.
It's one of the basic rules of fielding a ground ball. Right? You always play the ball with the glove down.
Always. And
then play it up.
Always start it down, because the old adage, you can come up easier than you can go down with the glove.
So there, Ollie. 2 down and nobody on. Ricky Henderson, a perfect night, 3 for 3, 3 singles, scored a run in the 3rd inning on a Dave Henderson RBI double. But that has been it against Tom Bolton tonight, the only run scored, even though the A's still are out hitting Boston 7-6. Ricky's raised his average to 283 with his 3 for 3 night.
And we mentioned the 100th pitch for Mike Moore. That's the 100th pitch there for Bolton here in the top of the 7th.
Bounce that one. Ricky, a questionable starter for tonight's game. Tony La Russa literally walked around the clubhouse before the start of the game asking players whether or not they could start. Ricky was one of them. He had about 4 players he had to go to check on their condition. Ricky's got that groin hamstring problem. Just slowed him down. And he's 4 for 4. A base hit into left field. That'll bring up Dave Henderson again. Ricky's on at first again.
And Gary, we're going to see an at-bat breakdown here with Henderson last at bat. There was a breaking ball on the outside part of the plate for a strike. Another breaking ball down in the strike zone, 1-1. He came back with a fastball away that he fouled off, establishing everything away. He came back with another breaking ball off the plate, 2-2. Then he came with a sinker, middle of the plate down to strike him out, 2-2 count. See that everything middle away. They do not want to pitch Henderson inside.
That one to center field. Ellis Burks will put it away. And Tom Bolton continues to get the job done Runner left on from Fenway Park. 7th inning stretch time. Off here, and he will take that pitch for ball 1. Boggs batting at .315 with a single in the first, scoring a run, on in the 5th with a walk. He's always up there among the walk leaders. Started the night 9th in the league in 3 passes. He's picked up 42 on the year. 3-1 ball game. You sense in this game this is not over. Moore, 7 walks and 1 strikeout. And Boggs on the 2-0 pitch fouls it back. 2-1. Boggs, Clark, and Greenwell up for the Red Sox here in the bottom half of the 7th inning. Fans stretched it out. There, 3 balls, 2 strikes. It's a confident hitter. Willing to take Moore's pitch that time. Guzman's been up for a couple of innings. Todd Burns throwing this half inning. 3-2 delivery to Boggs. Good pitch, he jammed him. Dave Henderson. And Boggs retired. 1 down in the bottom of the 7th inning. That'll bring up Clark.
25.
Jack Clark had an RBI double in the first.
Designated hitter, Clark.
He's on his share of walks this season too, to go along with that average of 217. He's 28 RBIs. Jack Clark has also picked up 42 walks.
He's always had a great eye and been very selective at the plate. You're going to notice here, we mentioned how he likes the ball in, how Terry Steinbach sets up outside. He gives a sign, a slider, and then he sets up away. They do not want to throw anything middle in here.
One ball, 1 strike.
There you go. That shows you exactly right there. Jack Clark's last bat. The yellow pitch is the last pitch that he flew out on. Everything else away.
Got that one in, but it goes to short. Gallego is there. That's one he'd like to have back. It's probably closest to spin to the sweet spot for him in the middle of the plate. 2 down in the 7th inning. Bases empty. Mike Greenwell coming up. Great to have you with us here from Fenway, ESPN's Friday night doubleheader. Second game will be the Cubs and the Giants from Candlestick Park. Steve Physioc, Dave Campbell will be bringing you that one. All wrapped around by baseball tonight. John Saunders keeping us updated. 2 down here. Seeing a gutty performance by Mike Moore in this ballgame tonight. They just had to get some innings out of him, and he knew it. And he struggled in the first inning, facing 7 batters, giving up the 2 runs on 3 hits, and then the walks that have come along here since. A lot of pitches thrown, but he's held the A's in the game. You're really seeing the story of what has been the A's need this season, and that's to get performances like this from their starters. They haven't been doing it. Now they're getting it, but they're not able to do anything with both.
Well, Gary, you mentioned the pitches. He's already at the 134 mark, which is a bundle of pitches.
Nasty pitch right there. Ray, that tells you Tony La Russa is concerned about that middle relief situation with the A's.
Well, it sure does. There's been 3 times in this game, back in the 4th and in the 6th and again in the 5th, that Moore was in trouble. And I was looking out at the bullpen, and there was not a soul up until the 6th inning. In the 6th inning, Guzman came up.
Canseco has the beat on this one and puts it away to the roar of his anti-fans in right field. 7 complete at Fenway. Jose will lead it off. Boy, the White Sox are finding that ballpark's going to give up home runs, and they're not a home run hitting team. Taken for a strike. The A's running out of time. Canseco doubled in the first inning. 7 runners left on by the A's in this game, and Canseco puts that one back in front of us and on the screen. Jose Canseco last night here at Fenway Park. Gardner got the arms out.
Well, that's something that we've grown accustomed to seeing 35, 37 times a year. Majestic blast on a hanging breaking ball. But oh, man. See.
Flashman way out of the box. Third base coach knowing Canseco would drill the ball down there is not going to have any part of it. So he's back. He's about 20 feet behind the box where he's supposed to be standing. I don't blame him. Breaking ball. Good pitch by Bolton. Check it first. Didn't go around. 2-2. They don't hit him in the Lansdowne Street anymore. It's now Ted Williams' way out beyond the wall in left field. Famous home runs on the Lansdowne Street are now home runs the Williams way. Fastball by Bolton misses, and the count is full. 3-2. A's need runners here, down by 2. They've out-hit Boston 8-6. They've left them on because of Bolton's work. And Canseco drives that to right center field, backing up near the wall. Brunansky. Goodbye, home run. Jose Canseco makes it a 3-2 game.
The only problem is that he's still 1 run down. But Jose, I tell you, you talk about not being able to answer them. That's one way to answer. Do it with your bat.
16 home runs on the season now for Canseco. 45 RBIs. Back to a 1-run ball game. And here's Harold Baines, who's gone 0 for 3. So Jose drives one the other way. And that was a shot.
And Gary, the wind's blowing in from left center field home. And to hit the ball that far, that high, gives you some indication of how strong this man is. The ball probably landed 410 feet from home plate to right center field.
He's now homered in 7 of his last 10 games. And the last 3 in a row. He had one against Detroit Wednesday, one against the Red Sox last night, another one tonight. Baines is really fighting Tom Bolton. Bolton's had his number tonight. Not many have.
Well, he showed him the fastball as his first at bat and has gone to that sweeping breaking ball the last 2 at bats. There it is again.
He got that one to right field. Starting in, Brunansky then had to back up. That'll be a ground rule double. And Baines is on, and Morgan's already out. That's it for Bolton. Check in with John.
Twins in the...
Tom Bolton is gone, but pitched a strong game. That home run, the 9th he's given up this season by Canseco. Then Baines, the hard double. And Bolton will leave responsible for the base runner on at second base, and Jeff Reardon is on. One-run ball game. 3-2 potential tying run on at second base. Bolton's gone.
Bolton had a heck of a night, Gary. He did give up 10 hits, 4 of them to Ricky Henderson. 7 innings pitching around the plate all night. His type of ball game where he kept the ball in the ballpark except to Canseco. And that's the part of the park you want him to hit it in, 400 feet away. Here you see Jeff Reardon, who has a fastball, 88, 89 miles an hour, curveball, 25 innings pitched, 26 games this year, 22 hits, 18 saves.
Lance Blankenship is pinch running for Harold Baines at second base with that potential tying run. Tony La Russa is going to take a chance here, so he puts in a speedier baseman. Ray, we were talking during the break here. Now it's a little early for Jeff Reardon in a game.
what it is. Jeff Reardon, he's been in 26 games, 25 innings. Normally just comes in for 1 inning, a lot like Dennis Eckersley, Bobby Thigpen. But because the Red Sox bullpen is so thin, Joe Morgan wants this ball game. He's going with his ace.
And the bunt is on. Great bunt. The throw by Reardon is off the mark. Couldn't hold the bag. Over to third base goes Blankenship, and Terry Steinbach laid down a beautiful bunt. Joe Morgan's going to argue because it looked like Jody Reed might have had that foot on the bag. Carlos Quintana. I thought he had moved off the bag. He hadn't. He was the one taking the throw. He made a great stretch.
Well, just great baseball here. Tying run on second base. Steinbach bunting the ball toward the third baseman. Terrific bunt. Reardon getting over there in a hurry. Boggs no play. Comes up and just throws a bullet over there. Off the line. Quintana diving for the ball. Making a great play. Looks like he's on the bag, but the runner beat the throw. Here we go again. Making a big stretch. See the runner on the bag.
So the A's are threatening. A 3-2 Red Sox lead. 1 run in here in the 8th, and here's Mark McGwire, who singled in the 4th inning.
And Gary, what got you there is just like me. When the hitter squares a bunt, the first baseman should be in there, and second baseman should cover. But Quintana was shocked like all the rest of us. Nobody in the ballpark expected Steinbach to bunt in that situation.
Boy, the wind has really picked up now. It is blowing in towards first base. And I mean, we are feeling it for the first time tonight. I'm going to get one out of here right now. You're going to have to blast it. If anybody can do that, it's this guy, Mark McGwire. Yeah, 3 pitches. Reardon gets the strikeout. 1 down. Reardon had the save in last night's game when he worked the 9th.
Well, he just went right up the ladder with him, and on a 90-mile-an-hour fastball, he drops down. That ball is above the waist. There's just no way to do anything but foul that pitch off, and McGwire couldn't get his hands off to do anything with it. Hands up to do anything with it.
We'll have a pinch hitter. Law Dewup will be called back, and Ernie Riles has come out in the on-deck circle. The other thing, Ray, at this point, with Tom Bolton throwing a lot of soft stuff, Reardon's fastball is going to look like about 110 miles an hour.
Well, it always did to me, Gary. He throws about 88, 89, but he slings the ball, and you don't see the ball until it's about 10 or 15 feet out of his hand. Hides the ball, very deceptive. And when he throws the ball up in the strike zone, it really rides and explodes, and he looks like he throws about 95.
So his task here to try to preserve this Red Sox 1-run lead. 1 away. And Riles will pinch hit. This is an outstanding pinch hitter. He's had a good deal of chances to start this season. Riles 1 for 6 as a pinch hitter. You see the numbers overall. He has played now in 54 games and getting his at-bats, platooning at third base.
Riles, a dead fastball hitter, likes the ball down in his strike zone.
Boy, Reardon comes right at you.
He sure does. He always has, I'll tell you. Even when he was with the Mets and then went over to Minnesota, always came right at you. You didn't have to worry too much about Jeff Reardon. Came just a 2-pitch pitcher, really doesn't throw a changeup, fastball, curveball.
We were talking about, Ray, look at Blankenship at third base and Steinbach at first. This is only the 4th time Reardon has come in this season before the 9th inning. Miles off-speed pitch that time, and again Reardon ahead on the count, 0-2. So only the 4th time out of 27 Reardon's been in before the 9th. Morgan wants a W.
Well, that's a new pitch for me. That changeup there, he did take something off of it. I've known Jeff Reardon for 12 years, and I've never seen him throw a changeup.
That's all he needs.
Well, you do. When you lose a little bit off the fastball, it just gives a hitter something else to think about.
Tony Pena up to pull that one in. 1 ball, 2 strikes, 1 out, 2 on. Infield, of course, looking for the double play.
When Lee Smith was here, Gary, I thought that Lee Smith and Reardon were almost exactly alike. Both of them threw extremely hard and hard breaking balls, but did not throw a changeup. So as a hitter, you just go up there looking for something hard to get the bat started. And
that's towards short. Rivera. There's one. The relay. They got the double play. Has Luis Rivera played shortstop in this game? Canseco's home run will be the only run the A's get.
ESPN Major League Baseball is brought to you by Old Milwaukee and Old Milwaukee Light. It doesn't get any better than this. And by Orkin Termite and Pest Control. One call destroys them all.
5 double plays now have been picked up in this beautiful ballpark on this summer night here at Fenway, and Rivera has saved the Red Sox twice.
he sure did. He made a great play on Canseco up the middle with a runner on third base in the 5th. And he comes back and makes a tremendous double play on the ball hitting the hole by Riles. Riles with good speed.
So Mike Moore just keeps pitching along. His club is back to within 1. Brunansky, Quintana, and Pena in the bottom half of the 8th inning. And that'll be fouled back by Brunansky. The Red Sox have not been a club noted for outstanding defensive play over the years.
Well, they really haven't, but talking to a lot of people around here this year with Greenwell's improvement at left field, Boggs at third, and the Golden Glove of Burks in center, Jody Reed playing extremely well at second, and now Rivera coming on at shortstop, they feel that they are as good as anybody in baseball defensively, especially in big clutch games. Joe Morgan said they clutched up a lot better defensively than they have offensively this year. See Rivera here. This ball was hit not real hard. Riles, a left-handed hitter, being closer to the bag, but tremendous play, coming up and making a perfect throw behind the bag where Reed could use the bag to pivot, throw a bullet. Not even close at first.
Brunansky only the second strikeout for Moore. One down, and here's the quiet cue, Carlos Quintana, who fouls it off. His average has dipped below the 300 mark now at 297. The 0 for 3 that he has taken here tonight.
Well, I'll give it to Mike Moore. We talked about him struggling all year long. He has struggled with his control. 7 walks tonight, over 140 pitches, Gary, and just continuing to battle and keeping this ball club in this game.
Yeah, it's really been a real gutty performance tonight. Tony La Russa did not have much in the bullpen for the middle. He had used Nelson long 2 nights ago. Chitrin last night. Chitrin sitting on the bench, didn't want to use Nelson at all here tonight. He really wanted to get, he's going to get to anybody, to get to Eckersley in a save situation. And Mike Moore's allowed him to do that tonight with this performance. 1 ball, 1 strike, and 1 out. Boston with 2 runs in the first inning. Clark and Greenwell the RBIs. The inside the park home run by Rivera in the 6th.
Well, he's finally thrown more strikes and balls all night long. He's had more balls and strikes. 143 pitches. 8 innings. Almost 17 pitches an inning. And he's really, it was about 20 an inning through the 5th inning.
Yeah. 2 balls, 2 strikes. He puts one away from Quintana. Red Sox a little concerned about the stiffness in the back. Carlos Quintana's suffering. Not anything major at this point. Rested last night. It has affected his performance at the plate. Towards the hole, taken by Riles. Over to McGuire. And Quintana is retired, 2 down in the 8th inning. Ernie Riles staying in the game for Vance Law at third base. Bring up Tony Pena. You're looking ahead. Gallego, Bordick, and Henderson. Ricky are due up 8, 9, and 1 in the opening order. In the top of the 9th inning. Barry Thorne and Ray Knight at Fenway, and very few have left this ballpark. 1-run ball game last night. Red Sox won. They are 6 and 9 in 1-run games this season. Pena takes it outside for a ball. Red Sox had lost 3 in a row before they got the victory last night. Trying to put some numbers together here at home. $33,951 the attendance tonight at Fenway. Takes them up to 1,060,000. Two-one delivery by Moore. Bounced. I really think he's about had it. Tank was close to empty for Mike Moore. He's overthrowing a little bit, following through a little bit more. Just trying to get it up there now. 3-1. Can go to the bullpen at this point. Tony La Russa has to in this one-run game. Burns is ready. Three ball, 1 strike count. And that's going to be trouble in right field. Canseco coming over. Pena makes the turn at first base on his way to second. Throw in by Canseco. A strong one on the money, but not in time. Pena a double. 4-game hit streak for Tony Pena.
A fastball in on Tony Pena, inside out. The ball gets hit on the fist and just flares it to right field. Canseco charges, the ball comes up and does throw a seed. One hot, perfect throw to second base, and not in time.
There's a big potential run with 2 down at second base. And Rivera, who had the inside the park home run, the first of his career inside the park job, 4th home run of the year, fouls it off. Strike 1. 2 down. 3-2 Red Sox lead. This is the man who every spring is told he will not be the shortstop. And every year he's the shortstop. Tim Naring had the job this season. He is out. He's got problems. Back problems. Nobody has been able to tell him what the problem is. He is very frustrated. 1-1.
Jonathan Rivera has not been as bad. It's been the inability to make the routine play. We've seen him tonight make a tremendous play up the middle and in the hole. Last year they were talking about him, Joe Morgan and Johnny Peskin, a lot of guys in the dugout, having the ability to make plays, but when a routine ground ball was hitting him in the 6th inning with a runner on second base, he had a tendency sometimes to lose his concentration. He certainly is concentrated wonderfully tonight, making 2 fantastic plays and hitting inside the park home run, which is the difference in this ballgame.
1-2 delivery with Pena at second. Canseco in front of this one, and that'll do it. No runs, a base hit, a base runner left on, so the A's are down to their final chance. All they need is 1 to tie it, though. We go to the 9th. Our storyline tonight at Fenway, the Red Sox 4 big double plays that have prevented big innings for the A's. The inside the park home run for Rivera, the difference right now. Canseco's 16th ties him with Chili Davis for the American League lead in homers. And for Bolton, 7 strong innings with those 15 ground ball outs. Bolton a chance to get his 7th win of the season if Reardon can hang on and pick up the save. Jeff going after save number 19. Oh, here we go. Mike Gallego will lead it off.
Mike Gallego.
11 hits for the A's, but only 2 runs. And Gallego, first ball hitting. They're hauled in by Bernansky. That's kind of surprising. Would have thought he'd have taken a pitch or 2. Try and get on base.
Well, that's the 3rd time tonight Mike swung at the first pitch. The one thing about Jeff Reardon, he comes right at you a lot like Eckersley. And a lot of times the best pitch to hit is that first pitch. But when you're leading off an inning, one run down, if you can't hit with one strike, you're in trouble anyway. So you hope that you can draw a walk, and the easiest way to do it is going up there and taking a pitch, hoping he gets behind you and put a little pressure on that pitcher.
Willie Wilson got his 2,000th career hit in last night's game, giving a standing ovation by the Red Sox fans. One down. He's pinch hitting here for Bordick. Takes it inside, ball one, 2 for 7 as a pinch hitter. Ricky Henderson waiting on deck. 3-2 Boston lead. Wilson goes towards the wall, and that'll be a foul ball. One ball, one strike. Jeff Reardon this season came on last night, got the save, perfect 9th inning. He's had 18 saves and 21 chances this year. Eckersley has picked up 19. He can tie him with a save here. Dibble has 19 in the National. Two ball, one strike count on Wilson. 2-2. Two delivery, chopped to second base. Jody Reed's got it, and there are 2 down. So the A's down to their final out.
Ricky Henderson.
Not the man you like to face when you got to get one more out.
And not when you're one run ahead, because he can, even with that pull groin muscle, that strained groin muscle, hit the home run, get a single, steal a base, and pop it up.
Shallow left, Rivera going back. It's only poetic justice. Luis Rivera puts that away. The Red Sox have won it. Jeff Reardon gets the save. And the Boston Red Sox have taken the first 2 of 4 games from these Oakland A's as they win this one by a score of 3-2. Bolton 7-4. Moore the loser 8-6. Reardon's got number 19. Rivera and Canseco the home runs. The 6th inning inside the park job.
Luis Rivera, the difference in the ball game defensively and offensively. Line drive to right field with 2 outs. Canseco tries to play. Funny little hop. Gets by him. Rivera working it around second. Rolling around third. Taking it on home for the winning run.
His first inside the park home run, and that was the difference in this ball game. For Ray Knight and all of our crew at Fenway, this is Gary Thorne. Thanks for joining us. Now, Steve Physioc and Dave Campbell.